the floor.
Yo, check this out. Yo, somebody after the black top. Support Tornado's YouTube channel beyond the break.
Three, two, one. One, two, one, two.
De-escalate officer control encounter.
So sorry. It's so loud in here, and I think that people really need to hear this. So can we please be quiet just a little bit and have some respect? It's pretty big. Thank you.
That's my bodyguard, Edward Jones. I use Edward Jones.
Boys, what are we doing? Oh, look at that! He's so cute! Gracias! Dude, this is amazing! It's pretty cool,
I'm a whirling dervish. I always twirl on purpose. I'm so surface level, don't you look behind the curtains. I'm nervous like I'm Nelly. Kelly's so evil, he's not a person. What would a good one consist of? I'm probably not as perfect. It's probably not in my bloodline. My faith lies as far as my fathers allow, but truth I control where I land. I choose to be an island. I choose to pick up my plans till they all seem folly, but I guess I change that present to the past tense. Like Paps was a bastard, flabbergasted. Pap has it running pattern, polish splattered, nothing matters. Turns out love an ugly dancer. I am. Generation violence, part of the nation, not hiding from it all till it all become blinding. Fly across the sky till the blue turn violent, mock the passage of the days. Days all ever I'm in. Don't feel free to chime in, rather keep you tuned out. Stick with flat drink sip instead of fizzled out routes. I don't need to go your way. You stand and make that face. Life is made of serious work. I don't need to go your way. You stand and make that face. Life is made of serious work. This might be a bold of self-belief. No need for boating schools to tell me peace is found. I find my own ground, crashing my own reef. No beef, all peace. Nah, that bang bang ski ski. You show the counts down. Clown caught up in his own heat. It's a lesson where you learn to shut the demons up. Nah, I'm kidding. You ain't no demon. You my homie, but I'm tweaking, bro. When you mix this and think you got business talking about my track, shut up, bitch. Sorry. I guess I went too far with that one. Guess it's easy to blame the homies for my shortcomings. Should have working for different outcomes. It's all love, but it need to be self-love. Need to do this for me, not for anyone else,
No,
but
but when he starts
not
to
for
get-
your approval or the words of the rest of, but to feel peace when I walk in the respite.
Guys, go
It
forward.
should be mine. Now I know it's mine alone.
Like this, and then they started leaning forward.
I don't need to go your way. You stand and make that face. Life is made of serious work.
Yeah.
I don't need to go your way. You stand and make that face. Life is made of serious work.
Sit down, sit down. Look.
Other hand. That one. That hand. Hey, come here.
What about?
I wanna play for so long. I need a tag, yeah. I wanna play, okay. Unless you talking numbers, we ain't speaking about the right things. Switch up on my nigga for a figure, that's not like me. Baddie with a body in the lobby, she like nice things. She used to know me then, she like me now, that's funny timing. Eyes been on that prize, I cop that cribbo for that timepiece. I'm trying to see the globe and sell out shows until the flight leave. They wanna ride my ties, but they ain't even ride or die, please. But I've been short on time and in the prime of my prime easy. I said I never changed and leveled up, I guess I lied, yeah. Off that straight up potion just to feel like I'm alive, yeah. Mix that with that potion just to feel like I'm that guy, yeah. I know the one you talking to, he went outside the line, yeah. Go against the tribe, you lose your... Let me not even say this shit. I just ran out my questions. I just got tired of waiting and got here myself. Niggas want me to believe in the dream that they see for themselves and still doubt in themselves. They might as well light up the L. High top on 10 toe, drip retro. Talking major plays, hella high tech through the getro. Pin game, then petrol. Just set it in the flesh hole. Send a text mail to give a wet clothes. On the vapor wave to make a drip drip with the left lobe in the left stroke. I'ma make plays, I'ma go long. Never look back so long. Yeah. Flex up. Shawty on 10, finna go up. Bring that to the crib, let me show love. Flex up. I'ma make plays, I'ma go long. Never look back so long. I need a bag. Flex up. I need a tag, yeah. Shawty on 10, finna go up. Bring that to the crib, let me show love. Ayy, come from the pit, I'm out of the tree.
Introducing Nonito Donaire.
Could this be tonight?
Hey guys. Oh, I did it right.
You did. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
What's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So our topic, like again, if you guys are new to our War Wednesday, it's basically us going in on something. And today, I figure, like we were having a discussion last night on Rapstar's channel, and there was something that really did, like when we were talking about boxing, we were talking about YouTubers, we were talking about fans. Something really did kind of like irk me, and I noticed it does irk me,
Yeah.
and it's about boxing fans, casual or not, YouTubers, things like that. If you guys follow me onto different channels, you'll know the heart of what I love talking about is either A, the business of boxing, just, questions on how it works, or B, the science of boxing, the fundamentals, stylistically, fights, predictions, what someone did wrong, post fight actions. I love talking about that. And I noticed, like, when I was talking, I was like, yeah, I'm actually like really irked about the fact that, guys come around and say like, oh well, I'm hopeful PBC is gonna fail, or I'm hearing they're gonna fail, or Top Rank's this, or well, HBO at that time had gone down,
Right.
so they are saying Top Rank's gonna go out of business. Golden Boy, The Zone, Matchroom, I mean, you name it. Probellum, right? People have been praying for the downfall of these these
Promotions,
outfits,
yeah.
in addition to their TV networks or their streaming services. And I guess my question is, what I really want you guys to sit and think is, what would happen if one or two of these did fail? Like, what would happen to the sport of boxing? What do you think?
Well, first and foremost, let's say what's up to everybody
Oh,
first,
sorry.
She's like, she's really into this stuff, man. She's like, hold on, calm down.
I was really excited about
Yeah,
this
I
morning. I
know.
woke up really inspired. L Dub Boxing, Boxing Lounge, Warrior Boxing LLC, Jerome Truitt, Boxing MMA 365, Thrill Hill, Coach Amber, Clea Stephens up in here.
Abner Ortega, T. Orlando Pearson, Skywalker, Abner, yeah, with the
Ad
coffee.
Solo.
Ad Solo.
Oddly Gifted Bully Kennels.
John Boy, what's up, fam? Yeah,
Marcus
man.
Robinson, Amira Blog. There.
Yeah, so everybody, man, thank you guys for coming out here. You know what's weird? You probably say it's weird because I was trying something out this morning.
Oh, God.
Coffee with peanut butter. Hey, and jelly. I just put it in there. I mean, it didn't work properly, but hey, I just wanted to do something different. There's like peanut butter in there, see?
It's grainy.
I know, that's why you gotta get
real peanut butter.
Yeah, it was real peanut butter.
Yeah.
No, it was real peanut butter. But what I'm saying is, I always try something different, to see if it works. But unfortunately, it didn't. So we got to go with like peanut butter and.
Someone said that sounds crazy and amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it sounds amazing.
It's good. You have the hint of the peanut butter. We love that stuff, man.
Oh my goodness, John Boy, you're too good
My brother.
us. You're too good to us.
Thank you.
We are going to dance.
Hey.
John Boy said, "Chillin', bro, and sis, you wild, bro. Low, can't mess with my coffee." I know. Did you see my face when he said what he said? Like, I'm like, okay. Abner Ortega says honey.
Well, I don't. It's like sugar, honey and sugar. It might be okay, but before we get into the hype of things, let's make it fun a little bit. But yeah, I try something different every time. This time was just peanut butter and jelly, and I feel that it needs to be the syrupy kind of flavor, instead of the real thing, because it's not gonna work, and it's gonna be grainy like I have in my coffee.
Flavoring.
Yeah, the flavoring, like how they have on the white chocolate, the
yeah, but they don't actually put peanut butter.
The raspberry, the vanilla.
I get you.
Yeah.
They don't actually.
Yeah,
it's
syrup. Yes, they do. But that's what I'm saying. Is it needs to be that. But I like it. Look, see, I've noticed a cinnamon too. See, cinnamon's good.
Okay, I know cinnamon. Peppermint possibly during the winter.
Cinnamon and peppermint. Yeah, peppermint.
Yeah, but like you're literally like you basically try to put a peppermint like patty or a peppermint mint.
That didn't taste good enough. That didn't taste good. I mean, it was good at the aftertaste, the graininess, and then you get the peanut butter in there. I'm like, okay, I'm done. All right, we're back. Hey.
John Boy with the super chat. Timothy Orlando Oddly Gifted Bully. Oh, damn, your name long and Lamarcus.
Oh man, yeah. So yeah, that wasn't too bad. I might try something different tomorrow.
What are you gonna put, like Wagyu steak inside your coffee?
I don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
With you, you'd be like garlic and coffee.
Ew, not garlic. I
I'm
love
just
garlic,
saying.
but come on. Like,
Let's just
why
say
would I
crispy
put
garlic. You like crispy garlic,
crispy
okay?
garlic in coffee? Now you're reaching. You're reaching. Oh my
All right, let's get back to business.
All right. Rachel, boy, need that wrench. Okay, got it. Hold on just a second while no need to talk.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Keep talking about your coffee.
My coffee, I mean, I try something different every time. Like, this is me about my life, you know. When I go into sparring, I try something. Yeah. I try something every time different. I mean, you know, you got to learn something. You might find something new. Why do you think people found out that they can eat crab when we had crab?
Well, yeah,
like, I'm like,
oh,
look at, oh, that thing bit me hard. Maybe that tastes good. I mean, who thinks about that kind of stuff? You know what I'm saying?
So what he's talking about is like, I love crabs, right? Specifically stone crab. But
stone crabs, Dungeness crabs.
Yeah, I don't like snow. I think that one's a
salty one.
Yeah,
the king crab.
So my question was, I want to be on the beach the day that someone was like, hey, there's a thing that looks like a stone and it's pinching me and is really aggressive, and yet I want to see how it would taste like if I cooked it.
Yeah.
So that is my question. Like,
right.
How does that even come into play?
Yeah.
And we got a super chat.
Hey.
John Boy, freaking Jay Miller.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. I think there's one more over there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I did, sorry.
And another one.
There you go.
Hey, I started too early. Man, I appreciate you, man. Much love to you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I'm just...
Read his super chat.
Damn you, Rick Timms. I can't see that.
Could have came in a minute ago and saved me $5. But here's Jackie. Good
Jackie,
morning, Jackie.
make it rain.
You need to hit it.
Much love to you guys, man. Jackie Hernandez, thank you always, man. And Jam Boy, thank you, guys. You guys are amazing. Love it, man. But yeah, my morning coffee is good. I think that extra sugar from the jelly came in and you know, and got me some hypeness in it. So you know,
peanut butter and jelly. What kind of?
Well, like I said, I gotta try something different. Like that's how I learn. You know, my life is always like, I want to try something different. I'm curious, but I'm more of like, well, you know, I want to know the outcome of things. I want to learn something that I might learn something that's good. You know, sometimes it's not good, but ultimately we do. I do find something that's good at times. So you just gotta keep trying. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Jay Miller.
You're
gonna get your shoulder workout today.
hey. Yeah. So this is gonna be a very, very interesting topic tonight. Today. Yeah, today, because you know you hear a lot of people talking about, man, these people they're ruining boxing, this and that, and you know they're taking advantage of fighters, and they should be shut down. They should be this. They should be that.
Or they're blocking good fights from happening. They're only keeping fights in house, so they should be shut down. I think T. Orlando said it earlier that, you know, they've been saying for like years that PBC was going under. You know, PBC, from what I understand, was established in 2014. It's almost a decade. Like, anyone that has been in the business for that long, like, you survive.
And I get it. The older we get, the faster time goes. Like, you know, 10 years when you're older, 10 years is like just last year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when you were younger, like 2 years was like, man, that's like 20 years. So yeah, I get it.
No, but
10 years, it just went like that.
Yeah, but in business, like, you see people fail a lot in the first 5 years. In the first 2 years, there's a lot of people that fail. So, you know, when people when to see a company that had stayed around for so long, and people really still wishing their downfall, literally holding their breath, right? They're holding their breath to hope that these companies fail. But here is my question. when or if these companies fail, what happens? And I think that's where I'm like, these people really don't understand. Like, okay, so if, let's just say, if PBC or Top Rank fails, what, or even Matchroom Golden Boy, where are we going to watch these fights? When are we going to watch these boxers?
Right.
And so my irritation is like, I don't know why you guys keep like trying to, and I'm not saying you guys as far as us, you know,
Just
guys in
the
chat, but just in general.
Yeah, in general.
If the shoe fits Cinderella, stretch that bitch up, okay? If you're wishing for the downfall of a promotion company, you are literally against boxing as a sport, in my opinion, because of the fact that without another promotional company, without another streaming service, these guys, whoever, let's just say Top Rank, right? Okay, so we're just, if they fell tomorrow, you're not going to see Tiafimo, you're not going to see Josh Taylor, you're not going to see Devin Haney, Lomachenko, Ramirez. All those guys are just going to fall, right? Like they're going to have no home. Same with PBC. Then you're going to have Spence. You're going to have Thurman. You're going to have freaking the Benavides plant fight that's coming up.
Right.
Like we're going to miss out on the talent because people strangely want a promotional company to fail, which would also mean our fighters won't have a home. They won't be shown on TV networks, etc. Like, for example, if Showtime wasn't around, right? When HBO fell, Top Rank went to ESPN. If ESPN wasn't there, where would Top Rank go? If Showtime fails and there's a plethora of boxers under the Showtime banner, where are they going to fight? Do you honestly think that Top Rank is going to make it easy for them to move over and push the dates that's for Top Rank's fighters to make way for PBC fighters in the same breath as Matchroom, right? They're going to be competing for how many dates, like how many, as it is, there's dates that they're streaming on the exact same day.
Right. But for me though, this is what I feel. It's a human nature. It's just human nature to feel that lack of gratitude, because when you have a lot of the things coming and you want something better, you're not grateful for the little things that you have, right? And then we see that, you see that with me. Sometimes I'm very complacent at times, and I gotta get my ass to get going, you know. And you see it. It's just, I think it's just human nature that people get into that realm of I guess complacency and just kind of flowing with it. I'm like, you know. And then when you don't have it, it's like being in a relationship, right? You're like, you treat the person not that great, and then when they're gone, you're like, oh man, baby, come back. You know, so that's all I'm saying. It's like if PPC goes down, if anybody goes down, and they're fighters, and we don't get the fight, guess what? Baby, come back.
Put it all on me. That's the lyric. You can put it all on me.
Oh, see.
I was wrong.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, baby, come back.
No, yeah, and I think that's the thing, right? It is like we don't, as fans, as boxing fans, when we're not talking about the science of boxing, I think that people, you know, they forget, you know, that, or they don't understand the repercussions of what they're wishing for. Really, like it's like, oh well, we really want PBC to fail. Do I do a good imitation of that guy?
No.
Oh. If you know who I'm talking about, you know.
You gotta get the raspy voice going.
And slurring. Yeah, so you know, when you say crap like that, it's just for me, like I just noticed how it's become very prevalent of going against promotional companies, being a fan of promotional companies and not boxers.
Yeah, an example over here, by I like Amia Pan. People are already saying they want HBO boxing back. So that was the fault of the promoters, right? Because they kept putting fights between other fights, networks against networks, right? So Showtime will be fighting at the same time that HBO is fighting, and then they weren't getting enough viewers that they could sustain showing and paying for these fighters, right? Because of that ego and the competition or competitiveness. And guess what? We lost HBO.
Okay.
And when we lost HBO, guess what? People want HBO back.
Yep. Okay.
Right?
We gotta do this. Yeah. Ready, go.
Wait, you didn't put the thing on. Hey, 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 hey!
Hey, shout out to
Oh, there you go.
$5 super chat. Here, in case you guys wanted
Yes.
to get the cash up here.
This all of the stuff that we get from here will go to the
I need to do something. Go ahead.
yeah,
Continue.
to the 501c3, the foundation that we have. And
yes, which we are still trying to our web people are making sure that the 501c3 website will be okay to take in donations, blah 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 blah. But anyway, let's get back. So HBO boxing, I thought was, I like their production value.
Yeah, and they have the they had the little thing that goes, little story that they did.
But okay, in all honesty,
well, it's better than nothing, right?
I know, but let me get out what I was gonna say, because you know what I'm gonna
say,
but they don't know what I'm gonna say. So didn't you feel though that it was a bit too narrative? Like it wasn't like well, I think the voice was boring. I think the story.
Ladies and gentlemen,
how many times did y'all run up the goddamn hill?
Yeah, that's what they always wanted us to do. It's just, hey, can you run up the hills, or can you run up this?
How many times did HBO
need you to
run?
Yeah.
When you didn't run.
It was set up though. It was set up the way they wanted cinematically.
I know, but it was the same shot. It was a cut and paste for every boxer, don't you think? Like there wasn't any like different narrative or storyline. It was like, look, they're running up the hill.
Right.
Look, they're at the
And
hill.
I think too that they didn't focus on a lot of the other fighters as well, to showcase their lives.
Well, there was a 24/7, and the 24/7 there was two different episodes. They're 24/7 for the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
They would do the build up to the road to whatever. And then there was the one that you did with Vasquez.
That was in a 24/7. That was the road to.
Was that road to?
Yeah, road to.
But it was only like one day of airing, right? Like I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
We filmed different days,
yeah,
but I don't remember it being like, like once a week where they're trying to build up the fight. It was literally the week of the fight. They put it together. I think they showed it on Friday or something after the weigh-in.
Well, they did when we were in the gym. They had a little bit of video. Was that another one?
That might have been our own people.
No, they had me. They had me run up the hills, and they took. Fight? I don't know if it was a Vasquez. It might be.
Because all I remember of the Vasquez fight is, remember I had that little Pomeranian.
Yeah.
Right. So she was in the shots, and then I remember the whole mess with Vasquez.
Right.
That they were filming, like they had gotten like a picture of the Twitter fight, know, and all this stuff. So, hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Mark Nash is in the building. Oh, I got to do this for Mark whenever he comes in.
You gotta press it hard. There you go.
There you go, Mark.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying, though, right? There's an example. UFC, right? The UFC, they have a whole story behind the whole thing where people can connect to them, right? And this is probably something that they need to do more in order for us to really appreciate the fighters and the promotion, because right now, it's been years, it's been decades and stuff like that fighters are not fighting each other because of the promotionals, and the promotions are not getting along.
Yeah. So LW Boxing said HBO has 2 days where they cover the weigh-in and fight night. I think that was the one that we did.
Yeah, I think that's the one we did. That was the road to, I think.
Yeah, I think that was the one we did. I don't remember them on fight night. I specifically remember them before. Like I remember all the mess.
They did in the fight night too, because they
pay attention to them in fight night. Like have to be a fly on the wall fight night.
Because remember Vasquez and them were saying that he can't go in the ring because he was sick or whatever, or he didn't feel good. Remember there was something, and they had to bring him to the hospital or something like that. But they were just making shit up because you guys read it on his Instagram or some shit like that.
I don't even remember that. Like,
I don't know. I remember.
yeah.
So
How did you remember that?
I have no idea
Out of all
because
the details of that thing, like I remember the hat. I
Right.
remember, you know, all this stuff. I mean, yeah. So it was, yeah. But okay, so back to it. I just think like there was no spark, like we were saying, like it's just the narrative of what was going on. Like it only really pertained to actual boxing fans. Like if I was just someone who never watched boxing
uh-huh.
and I was clicking through HBO and I saw this guy running up the hill, I'd be like, cool. And then I'd switch the channel. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't feel like it ever. And then the voice was just killing me. It was just so boring. Like it was no excitement. There wasn't. I don't know. It was
Okay.
just me. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
What? It's not like I'm saying anything different. Here we go, guys.
Hey, hey.
Theodore with the $2 super chat. We need more wars like you, champ. Too many divas.
Yeah, I mean, it's just old school fighters, you know, the old school mentality. For me, I was always taught and brought that way. You know, there was no saying no to anything. It was just like, hey, you're gonna fight, you're gonna fight. You know, and I got used to that. Nowadays, there's you know, it's a lot of the egos of competing with how come he's getting more money than me, or the other stuff, you know,
I don't
and
know. We should take away a lot of boxers' Twitters. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, that, you know, it's a different time now as compared to back in the days.
But let's get back to it. So when it's talking about like these, you know, because we kind of got sidetracked talking about HBO. When when people are asking for the downfall, do they understand what would happen to boxing if any of these things failed? Or do you think it's just some weird blind following that there's a narrative and people just want to jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, I hate them too. Cool. We're the bandwagon of hating.
I mean, really, it started with the Spence Crawford kind of thing because he got divided between fans, you know, between their fans and his fans and his
Rick
fans.
has always hated PBC.
Yeah, okay, because of something else, right? But I'm saying like the majority of people wanting something to, you know, the demise of a promotion.
Yes.
You know, and they don't understand that, hey, they put a lot of great fights.
Yeah.
You know, as much as like, oh, a top rank this or top rank that, or PBC this, PBC that, but they put a lot of fights that we put a lot of money into, you know, throughout the years.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Oddly gifted boys. Oh, dude, come on. Come on.
Make it rain, baby. Yeah. Hey. Hey. Yeah.
I don't know why this time it didn't, like earlier.
Oddly gifted.
You heard it.
Thank you for your love.
We
And
didn't do it with a Make It Rain dance. Hold on, let's make it with a
okay, there we go. Yeah. Big shout out to Oddly Gifted, brother. Thank you so
Oddly
much,
Gifted
man.
Bullies. He's not oddly gifted. The bullies are oddly gifted.
Oh, Oddly Gifted Bullies.
For $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Did he say?
More fans are treating promo companies as sports teams. Yes, they are. Yes.
Yeah, and you know, and that's the thing about what's going on with I mean, again, I'm gonna go back into it. It's human nature to when we have a lot of things and you know we're looking for something, we want something greater in our mind, and we don't get it. And of course, guess what? We're gonna go and talk about something that we want, and if we don't get it, we what's that?
This is what he was talking about in the Cash App.
Okay.
So they're treating promotional companies as rivalries, like teams, right? So like Niners versus Raiders or whoever. I don't know who else is a football team. There's a Dolphin. Is there a Skyhawk?
What's a Skyhawk?
There's no Skyhawks. Hawks, seagulls.
Seagulls.
There's a seagull.
There's a seagulls.
Who are the seagulls? Is there a seagull in football?
Why are you asking me?
Because you don't know either, do you?
Yeah.
There's a seagull?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like you're pulling my leg. Hey guys, can you guys tell me if there's a seagull team or
yes.
shitting me right now?
No.
He's my dad, and he's like, Seahawks. You're a jerk. See, this is why I don't believe you. You know that this fool. Okay, so he took me. We're going like he took me to. We was it a Raiders game? Was it the
How could
Raiders?
you not see my face when I'm messing with you?
There's no seagulls.
You know
I
that
thought the seagulls were from like Seattle.
Seahawks is from
Seagulls.
Seahawks. No, it's Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks.
They could be seagulls too.
Yeah, they could be seagulls too. Yeah, baby. They can be seagulls. They can be owls if you want them. You know, like the eagles. You know, you can make them mockingbirds if you want.
Okay,
You know,
so,
or the cardinals actually.
so, blue jays. Is there blue jays?
Yeah, babe. There's blue jays. Yeah.
See, I don't believe you anymore. What? See, so see, oddly gifted bully Kendall said you were so close.
Seagulls, Seahawks, right?
So we went to a football game. It's the first time I went to a football game on purpose. It's the first time I went to a football game in person, and we were standing there, and we were, and I was like standing there looking at the field, and Nonito's like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, "I don't get it," and he goes, "What?" And I was like, "Where's the yellow line?" And he's like, "What yellow line?" I go, "The yellow line that's on the field when I'm watching TV," and he was like, "That's computer generated," and he was like, and so I'm staring at it for a while, and he was like, "This whole time you actually thought it was on the field?" I was like,
yeah, it just keeps moving, right?
That's
hilarious. Shout out to Johnny, by the way.
The yellow line is.
Yeah.
How do you know where to run to? I forget it. This is just going. Flock of seagulls.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, flocks of seagulls.
Flocks of seagulls. Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Flocks of seagulls.
Oh man. I.
Seagull. I like it. They should make one that's called seagulls.
Yeah. You should see her when she's watching. You know, because like she's looking around the field all the time. It was funny. I was like, "What are you looking at?"
The yellow line.
Yeah, the yellow line.
I was looking for the yellow line.
But you weren't the only one that thought that, though. There was another girl that thought that way too.
Yeah, and she was my friend. Leave us alone.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes, leave my seagulls alone.
Yeah.
Timothy.
Hey. Hey.
He said, which type of fans want to see boxing fail? Interesting question.
Yeah.
We are going to answer that question in just a bit. Let's go ahead and do this because John Boy's
John Boy. Hey.
Hey guys, I'm off to work. Have a blessed day, everyone. John, thank you so
Thank you
much.
again, brother. Thank you. And have a wonderful day at work and have a wonderful day altogether.
Sing to John. Hi ho, hi ho. It's
Off work we go.
Do you not know the song?
I don't know the song. That's the little
The
dwarves.
7 dwarves.
Yeah.
When they were going to work in the mine.
Hi ho.
Song because we went on the ride.
Hi ho.
All right, let's go back to
Appreciate you, man. So yeah, we're going back into
Okay, what type of fans want to see boxing fail?
And I got to go back to was it Oddly that said something about it, about the separation of the fans and
treating them like their team,
right? Because they're treating them like teams. So
rivalries.
The rivalries,
Mhm.
right? So like some fans they like the Top Rank more or Matchroom or PBC.
Who likes Match?
I don't know. I'm just
I
kidding.
haven't
I'm just
heard of that.
yeah. They say Top Rank and PBC because
I-
no one really says Matchroom. They say The Zone, right?
Well, no, I don't see anyone ever arguing for or against.
No, it's
Zone.
always PBC.
Always PBC Top Rank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Golden Boy is barely even in that
Right,
conversation.
right.
So you're saying that, well, okay, so you're saying that it's because of what? And what type of fans say that?
Well, like again, like was it Oddly that said it
About what?
about the rivalries and
Yes,
teams and stuff
yeah.
like that?
Yeah, but who created that? Is it the fans of the fighters? Because here's the weird thing. Bud was with Top Rank.
Right.
So were they like, go Top Rank, go Top Rank? And then when he left Top Rank, they're like, boo, Top Rank. Like, did they just like do they follow their player? To
Right.
their promotional company?
I think. What do you think?
I I asked you first. You can't ask a question with a question.
Okay. No, I think that when it comes down to that, it's the people that supports the fighter, mostly that gets that word out there, and then as tribal beings, we like to be in the tribe kind of mentality that we just kind of like get our pitchfork and we'll go for the hunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though people don't really know what are you laughing at me, seagulls?
Because you're over here. Okay, fine. Leave my seagull comment
Yeah,
alone.
okay.
But I'm hearing you say pitchforks that actually has to do a witch hunt. Not like they're not hunting like pigs with the pitchfork.
No, I know,
It's
but I'm saying they go
and you went
in.
from a tribe, and then like
I'm bouncing. Okay, you gotta catch the ball.
okay.
You gotta catch the ball.
You need better coffee. There's no peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
Coffee
the
in
peanut
morning.
butter and jelly was working a little bit.
Oh
So.
my god. Okay, so I mean that's the weird thing, and so did it really originate from Mark Nash said something about this before. He said that it started with all the way back with Bob Arum and uh, Don King. That's what Mark Nash said.
The rivalry.
Yes, but he started all the way back then. And let me see. Here we go. Let me highlight his comment. It started with back with Don King versus Bob Arum, BLK versus White, in my opinion. BLK or
Black versus white.
I know. I'm just joking.
Is that the prime? Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I can totally see that happening because of course, where, first of all, like Arum was the only one, right? For quite some time.
Yeah, because Don King kind of got out the picture.
Yeah.
And then Golden Boy came in the picture.
So, but there was a rivalry with Golden Boy and Top Rank, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, but do you feel like it was that loud? Or is it because now we have social media that we're hearing so many people say?
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's definitely the social media. And I truly believe that when you hear the words, people just kind of like jump into it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially like the fight's not going through, and this and this and that. People are just gonna have. People love to find the flaws and the faults of promotions and stuff like that.
Yes.
And just for any individual, really.
Timothy said that's why it's important to be a fan of boxing first, then be fans of certain fighters. Choose love for the sport first.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like we lost the whole thing as to why would we want any promotion or any TV network to fail if we really want boxing to thrive? Like, as we know, boxing is already a niche sport, right? There's certain people that like boxing. There's certain people that like fighting, and even a smaller genre that likes boxing, just pure boxing. And so to want that downfall means we would have less opportunity to see talent and talent be accessible to us on streaming platforms or regular cable TV. So I don't really understand that narrative, and I'm going to lock up the dog.
Well,
noisy.
You can just close the door. No, I think when it comes down to that, it's not just it's not just what were we saying? The dog I just lost my train of thought. What were you just talking about just now?
That without the promotions and the TV networks, we won't get to see fights.
Yeah, and they don't understand that you can close the door, yeah. They don't understand that the promoters have all of these fighters, and if the promotion fail, guess what? All of these fighters are homeless, right? And they're still going to be contracted too with the promoter, and they can't just go to the next promoter and jump into it.
No. Usually the promoters do have a clause in there that says that they can sell the contract.
Is that a seagull clause?
A seagull clause. Leave my seagulls alone. I'm gonna make a team seagulls. You guys have to hashtag team seagulls.
Yeah.
Okay. Seagulls are scavengers.
Yeah, and they can eat a whole rat. Do you know that? They can eat a whole rat. I saw one video that they ate the whole rat, like like a gulp, like I just
they just open their mouth and it just goes. Sea seagulls are
like
cool.
mine.
Exactly. Electro Jed, what's up? I haven't heard from you in a bit. No, I'm not ready for your book of questions. I know you have like whenever Electro Jed like finds us, he goes, hold on, and he has this whole notebook of questions that lead to another question. Do you think that promoters encourage the toxicity in the boxing fandom? And if so, do you think that is why boxing popularity is on a decline in the US? I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
I would agree with that.
They encourage the toxicity.
Yeah, because why? Because they're not making fights happen because of their own egos. They want control. What?
After Ortega said hashtag
yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Leave me alone. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. I think truly, I believe that because of their action in not making the fight happen for the fans, because they want to take control and they don't like the other promotion, they hold off the fight that should happen. That I believe with Jet on that one.
Well, I think that with as far as that, I mean, we have heard promotional companies go at each other. It's not like they hide their disdain, right?
Right.
Big word for
disdain.
Drew Titan is
Drew
in
Titan.
the house.
Hey, I'm allergic to eggs. Make it rain. Enough said. So enough. Much love, brother. Thank you. Yeah. She's allergic to eggs too.
No, the eggs this morning about Connor Ben and how he was.
What?
The one this morning about how Connor Ben, doing his ABCs and Declaration of Independence, and then she was on estrogen and
A B C D E F.
Said it was from tainted eggs.
Yep, tainted eggs.
Whose eggs?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, they just need to do it properly,
What? Eating
out? Eating out. Yeah, you can't do it. No, don't do it. Stop. That's for Thursday.
Oh, sorry. We will talk about ABCs and the Declaration of Independence
on Thursday. Thursday night.
Wait, I'm supposed to go out Thursday night.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's talk about it again.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'd like the promoters to stop appearing as scumbags, feeding off of fighters' blood. Promoters protecting fighters. Promoters ripping off fighters. Promoters preventing fights.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we stop? I mean, we can't stop them from appearing like scumbags. They have microphones in their face that, they go off and say what they want.
Right.
And that's part of the problem. I think Bob before has said stuff about Golden Boy, especially in the fruition of Golden Boy when they first came into the picture.
Right.
Right. And then now they seem okay, but now there's a new person to attack. It's like PBC or Tribalism, right?
Yeah.
Like, so they're always doing these.
And again, that's the toxicity of promoters because of their wanting to take control of the whole thing, So, hey. Always great boxing talk over here. Love the content. Thank you, Pac-Man. Pac-Man. Tay. Thank you, Tay. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, we always just try to talk about, everything that we can. I mean, Wednesday we talk about whatever we think that we need to talk about.
Yeah.
That there's no filter when it comes down to it,
Yeah. So, okay. So with them like going after each other and stuff like that, I feel like they're always just trying to point out the bad things about the other promotional companies that get.
Of course.
Yeah, but the funny part is everyone does it.
Yeah, but the only time they really do that is because when it comes down to a situation between two promotions, like say they have two fighters that they need to fight together or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's they're gonna try to talk, but it's never gonna be an amicable shit. I don't know, whatever.
Seagulls.
Yeah, yeah. So, it's never, because they want to take control. They want to take control of the fight. They want to take control of the promotion. They want to take control of the network. It's as simple as that. And this is why they fight. And the toxicity. And again, it from way, 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 way back, right?
Oh, okay. Tay, I know who you are now. Shout out to Tay.
Tay.
Okay. So, goodness,
You're too famous, man.
I am.
Yeah. No, but that's what I think personally. When it comes down to promotion, they're just very toxic in that sense, because they don't want to make the fight happen because they don't like the other promoter or other promotion.
Shout out to Tay Jones. You guys go and like and subscribe to his channel.
Yes.
Yeah. Hit that link, or Tay, if you want to drop your link in the chat, so then people can like and subscribe and notification your channel as well. The thing, okay, so what I'm saying about promoters like are pointing out things from other promoters that they do also is, for example, like, they want to keep everything in house. Every effing promoter does that.
Every promotion.
And so that's what makes it funny to me, because they all freaking do it.
They
like,
do.
We look at Matchroom, right?
Yep.
And we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know
they
if
got
about on camera, but so they're trying to lead. Aren't they trying to lead Berlanga over to Canelo?
Right.
Right. Okay. And then there's the Beevil. There's the guy that I
can't Beevil, Watsy,
that guy.
Callum Smith.
Yeah. So what do you guys think, that they're going to actually like send them over to Golden Boy, or send them over to PBC or Top Rank, and have them possibly get beaten by someone from a different promotional company, and then lose the belts, lose the chance to make them all fight each other in this little mini tournament where Matchroom can make all the money? It's the same in fighting Kambosos, fighting Lomachenko. And I just saw something this morning that said that Bob said that the winner of Loma versus Devin is going to be fighting Stevenson. Like, it's always going to be like,
in-house. It's always been that way.
Tio versus Josh Taylor.
Yeah. It's always going to be in-house if they can, unless there's a mandatory that they need to fight and they have to negotiate, and they don't like negotiating with everybody else, is because they can't take control. Because once, it's like with you, that's why they don't really like you, is because when you negotiate the contract with me, they're like, I'm gonna give you 800,000, and you're like, no, I want 900,000.
No, that I see. You have no idea how to negotiate. I would, because if
I'm just giving an example, Tim Siegel. God damn it,
Team Siegel. If they said 800,000, I'm not going to say 900.
Okay, you're going to say $1 million.
I'm going to say way higher than that. And then I want them to be in the middle. Like, that's negotiate. Anyway, this is why you don't negotiate.
I don't negotiate. I don't negotiate. This is why I have you in my corner.
Well, Rick thinks I don't negotiate. But anyway, blah, blah, blah. Hey, Story B Man, what's up? So what was the holdup? That was the holdup between Tank and Ryan with the rematch clause. It is right now. Yeah, I mean,
the rematch clause. I mean, they don't have a belt, don't they? They're not fighting for the belt.
No.
So why is there a rematch clause? Usually, it's for the belt.
I mean, you don't know if they're gonna have like a Twitter belt or something. I mean, like
the Twitter belt.
Oddly gifted bully kennels. People are gonna think y'all are so random for just yelling out the
The other day was just Joe.
Yeah, I was Joe the other day.
Yeah,
that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was. We were talking about what we're talking about.
Seagull.
No, when I called you Joe, we're talking about domestic violence, right?
Yeah, why did we name it Joe?
Because somebody came up with like some person named Joe was beating up on some girl named whatever, and that's when we started calling you Joe.
Yeah. T. Orlando said, "Gotta bounce for a meeting. Everyone have a good afternoon. Thank you, T. Orlando.
Thank you, brother.
Great time at work or meeting, and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that's literally like what I said. Like, it's just this. They all do it. So I don't feel like any promotional company is better for the whole all of fighters. I think it really has to depend on your relationship with your promoter and how you feel and what fights they can get you, and if it's more about their ego as a boxing promoter versus your legacy as a fighter.
Yeah. Well, again, when it comes down to that, every promoters does it. It's always an in-house kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, Tate said I was gonna ask that to you guys the other day. Why does a rematch clause even matter with Tank versus Ryan? Neither have belts.
Yeah. I think it's just the money thing, the money thing. Like,
Well, okay, so let's rewind. The problem here standing is that I believe, and I would actually have to look this up with some verification if the tweet it has not been deleted. From what I understand, at some point, sometime in the past, they
In
have
a land
said
far, far away.
that belts don't matter.
well, they did say that belts don't matter.
So if belts don't matter, then it doesn't matter to them that there is no belt on the line.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but why with the rematch clause?
Because one would have that tainted record that one.
So they want to get back.
So they want to have an opportunity
To get back. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
But usually it's just because they want to get their belt back. But I guess they want to get their. You can't take the zeros back.
You can't take just the notoriety or the clout and saying I beat you. Well, so the other one wants to be able
I'm gonna beat you back.
And the funny part is you're gonna do a rematch clause, and then how's the third fight? Like, let's just say it's 1-1. Well, how's the third fight gonna be negotiated? Where's that gonna go?
Yeah.
Timothy said, "Bingo, the zero is more important than a belt these days. Belts matter in the Hall of Fame," is what Abner Ortega said. Well, yeah, I mean the thing is,
Well, the zero does. The zero is really okay. There's a lot of people with a lot of zeros, right? And some of them just fought nobodies.
mhm.
But I think you get guys who fight. I mean, it enhances the fight when somebody has a zero, definitely. But
It's a marketing tool,
right, but I think good fighters versus good fighter is really the key to why people will be watching the fight.
Yeah.
But that's from me coming from a guy who has a lot of losses still. Yeah.
I mean, I just think eventually, like when that if you're protecting, I think the word is protecting.
Yeah.
When you're protecting the O and not challenging yourself with
that's a different
good
story,
opposition,
right? Yeah.
then it's really just people using that as a marketing tool. Like, who's gonna lose their undefeated record? Like, it's like, okay, well, I mean, apparently someone's going to have to walk out of this with an undefeated with
something,
with a 1 or even a draw, right? Maybe
Yeah.
that has never been a thing.
Yeah, but with something.
Yeah. Joseph Brown said too many boxing channels and content creators demonize one promotional company over it when they all have similar business practices. Exactly, and that's my point. They all have the same freaking blueprint. It's not a different blueprint at all.
Yeah.
It's always the same issues about keeping them in-house, dates, numbers of pay-per-view, the gate sold, and I'm the A side.
And it's a competition. It's a competition when it comes down to that. It's always the other better than the other or whatever. They're always trying to claim something, and that's the thing about it, man. I mean, competition is good, but toxic competition is on a different level that it's just ruining the sport.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of why, like, when I had heard so many times from, well, 2 times, I should say, not so many times, when I heard twice from Ramirez and from Tio, these things about like Probellum and that their promoter doesn't want to deal with the other promoter, Regis's promoter, who's Probellum. Like, I was like, you didn't come to that conclusion on your own. Like
Yeah.
it was told to you by someone, which now the toxicity spills onto the fighters. The fighters are spewing stuff about promotional companies that they have no clue about.
Right.
And then their fans and the other fans of the other side, they go on and it just everyone goes crazy about your promotional company is this. Well, your promotional company is that, and blah blah blah, and finger pointing, and then we forget like we just really wanted to see the fight.
Yeah.
You know, seagulls. The zeros gets you in trouble once you step up in the world class level or title contention. What do you think about that?
There's just different levels when it comes down to it, you know. And you see some fights, you think that the kid is really good, and all of a sudden, he just gets smacked, right?
Yeah.
Because the level of competition rises from becoming a prospect, contenders, and then elite fighters, and then the world championship calibers guys. They're just so much different in that way of fighting, in the levels of fighting.
Agreed. I like this question by Thrill Hill. Is there an argument for regulating the sport, potentially making it less shady? Of course there's an argument for it, but the problem is that you have to have the last biggest one was the Muhammad Ali Act, right? And you had lobbyists, you had congressmen, you had Senate that were actually backing it because Muhammad Ali in himself, not even as a boxer. Of course, boxing gave him the stage, but in his political statements, in his ground shaking statements that people that shook people to the core and made them wake up. It was something that they couldn't ignore at this time in genre. I don't believe that there is a boxer right now that has really has that impact in America to be able to get people to put in money to back a cause and actually bring it all the way to the top and see it through. These rules and regulations have to be, like I said, drafted. They have to be approved. They have to have a vote on it. And it's going to go a lot of back and forth because guess what? If there's something that's drafted to protect the fighter, guess who's going to argue against you? The promoters and the managers. They're going to say, well, that's not fair for us. We're just trying to run a business. This should not be put into it because it's unfair to us as promoters, right? So again, like I'm all for regulating the sport. It's the fact that
Boxing is a wild, wild west.
well, you need the money to regulate the sport.
You need the money, and that means.
Although I did see that the ABC was bringing in a council, for boxers, like a voice for boxers for in the ABC.
Okay.
It's not. I mean, I forgot who, but one of the people they named in the council is a retired MMA guy.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
I know. Weird.
I don't know. I mean, yeah.
It's supposed to be the voice of boxers.
The voice.
The guy. Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're gonna pick a couple different retired boxers, but from what I understand, here I'll look it up.
No, I'm just saying because.
No, let's look it up.
Okay, but look it up. But I'm just saying.
Here, you talk to Timothy. Timothy said.
What Timothy said.
All we want is just to see the elites fight the elites and see less excuses and drama.
You can't do it, in this generation and time. There's so many drama going on. There's so many social media going on. I mean, you can say we want to fight the elite versus the elite, but they want more money when it comes down to that. They don't want to risk fighting another who has a bigger risk of beating them, So they want more money. They want more drama. They're going to talk so much crap outside of boxing. And I mean, we've seen it already, and I think that it's unfortunate because back in the days, he was just like, you know what? You got a problem with me? Let's go in the ring. Boom. That's it. But now it's about, you got a problem with me? Pay me more money. It's like, wait, what? Hold on. I thought you want to fight me. So I don't get it, man. I really, really don't get how the thinking is. And I generational, I guess, is just different for me. Like somebody said here earlier, I'd rather fight the best out there and prove myself. And like I said earlier today, I tried something new, which was coffee and peanut butter and jelly. I try something. I always gonna try something to get a result. I'm always gonna try to fight somebody, and see if I can beat that person. When people say, "Oh, you can't beat this guy, you can't beat that guy," I mean, let me prove it first. Let me try it first. I'm not gonna say, "Ah, you're right, man. I shouldn't do that." That's just how I am, and I think that people need to not worry about the O's too much, and just go out there and make the fight and enjoy the moment of fighting the best fighter out there.
I can't find it. I can't.
So you lied.
No, I know. I saw it. It was an MMA guy.
You lied.
Maybe it was no, it wasn't Frank Mir. No, I don't remember who it is. Hassam said, I think most countries outside the U.S. have national sanctioning bodies, but the main issue, in my opinion, is stopping and preventing the corruption. I mean, the whole thing is having an oversight committee and a checks and balances that no one's abusing their power. That's one of the things that a lot of boxers don't want to speak out because of the fact that the person that they're going up against has a large network. People that they've worked with for so long, and usually a boxer is pretty young coming into the boxing business game.
Yeah.
So that being said, there's no one to really check and make sure that these boxers are being treated right, that they're not getting blackballed or blacklisted just because they refuse to work with one person in the industry. But there's no oversight. There's no one to make sure that it's all fair and game.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest problem. Like I've always said, like, people are like, oh, they offered this person this and they offered that person that and they denied it. And I'm like, you guys, like, this is not like buying a house. It's not like I send a offer over to Nonito and he has to sign the offer and say, I decline the offer or this is my counter offer. And it's written in paper with his signature. So he can never say, I never signed it. That's not how boxing works. And so because of that, you have a lot of people that are like, you didn't send me paper. No, you didn't send me paper. When did you send me paper? Then produce the paper. Like, there is no paper. Like, literally, there is no paper. Because, I mean, like, when you got offered on Boxing Scene from about Abner Mares, like a mysterious $3 million that we supposedly turned down and we never saw the paper.
Yeah.
Like, how is this not normal?
It was toilet paper.
It was toilet paper.
Yeah.
Team Seagulls. How is it not common practice? I guess is what I'm saying.
What do you mean common practice?
Like, it should be common practice that when I send an offer, you have to sign that you received it. Like, there's a counter. That's what I'm saying about buying a house.
Right.
If you have a house that I want to buy, I send you an offer.
Yeah.
And you sign that you received the offer
Right.
and your response, whether it's decline or counter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is something that says that it was in your hands and you saw the paper.
Right.
But there is nothing like that. Drew Titan, no, there is no paper, no toilet paper.
Yeah, I mean,
B said, can you all speak on the blasphemous step-aside offers that pad fighters' bank accounts, further pressing issue? Okay, let me try it again. Can you all speak on the blasphemous step-aside offers that pad fighters' bank accounts, further pressing issues of guys not facing challenges?
Not tissue.
Not tissue. Not tissue. That's Dorian B, man.
The issues.
I know. That's what I figured. I mean, there is a step aside, right? We've seen step asides happen, and unfortunately, the way we really saw it happen was the fact that no one got a step aside and everyone got pissed, right? It was during the Spence and Crawford fight. Stanionis was supposed to get a step aside fee. He would negotiate a step aside fee, but that step aside fee was where's the word I'm looking for? It was not determined. It was dependent on the Bud and Spence fight happening. So because that fight didn't go through, Stanionis lost on his step aside fee, and he also lost out on even just fighting before the end of the year. And that's not okay. Now, as far as the step aside as it goes, I think in situations like that, where it's, we're looking at a unification. I think that I wouldn't be so upset about the step aside, right? Because you're stepping aside for I would want Stanionis to step aside. In my personal opinion, I would want.
Well, but that's the thing is that they also have a choice whether they want to take it or not.
Yeah, but I think what Stormy B is saying is that people are using that step aside just to pad their bank account.
Okay.
Instead of fighting.
Okay.
So that I feel so in your point, Story B, I believe that if it's a step aside for a unification, okay. I think that it should be one step aside, and then at that point you have to fight the next one. If you take another step aside for a voluntary, then
But it's not like, so for instance, if just say if I'm getting a 50,000 step aside, but then if I fought the guy, I get like 250 or 300. Which one would you choose?
some people for what Stormy B is saying, some people would rather take the 50,000 and pad themselves every time and be like, okay, I'll just step aside again for 50 and not fight.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And then you don't get that loss on your record. Yeah, you're not making 250 at one shot, but step aside twice, you're making 100,000, and you didn't have to step in the ring. That's what he's saying.
Well, that's bullshit, but yeah.
Well, that's what
I think it should be one step aside, and then you know what?
Then
you got to
fight.
you
Yeah,
got to be
that's what I'm
mandated
saying.
to fight. Yeah.
Yeah. There was a question. Joseph Brown, Nonito, did the Maloney situation get resolved? And if not him, who would you like to fight next? I mean, yeah, it got resolved. He went the WBO route. And as far as we know, the WBC already announced that we are okay to start talks with
Alejandro Santiago Barrios.
So we're gonna we're leaving that to Richard to get
Negotiate
that set up.
and
We
stuff.
really needed we needed, and we're waiting for the WBC to approve him first, as they went down the rankings, and now it's Richard's turn to get that done.
Yeah.
There's no paper. Rachel, do you think that some sort of legislation can be made for journeyman boxers to have their training fees and or regiment by the industry, since they get paid so little from the start? Oh. The problem with that is, of course, you're going to have journeyman boxers. Like, how do you determine that everyone is not privy, entitled to that?
It's different because unless they're with the promotion and but no one's gonna sign the German guys, right? And they're not employed, so it's hard to put money on them because they're not employed for anything. They're just pretty much the guys who are being used to get the record up.
Well, no, not all journeymen.
I'm just saying.
No, but how do you determine that, right? Like, so let's just say that there's that they're like, oh, okay, all these journeymen, we have to cover their training fees and their regiments, and here's the thing, okay? When a boxer is first starting out as a journeyman, 4-round, 6-round, 8-rounder, most of the time they are fighting more regularly, but they are fighting for less paycheck, and it's the beginning stages, and they normally have an outside job outside of boxing, right? To keep food on the table. The problem with giving them the training expenses before, like, what do you consider training expenses? If training expenses is just like a gym, which is $100 a month, or equipment, which you could partner up with someone like Everlast or whatever. If it's literally talking about the livelihood, like $5,000 a month, and that's low depending on where you live, what city and state, right? How do you determine that is actually going to pay off? And if that journeyman is even going to continue, or if he's just doing it so he doesn't have to work. You know what I'm saying? How is there going to be a checks and balances? Like, it's like, hey, like, you have a fight in 2 months. Like, cool, I need 2 months 2 months, training
Right.
expenses.
It's very difficult. It's a very difficult thing because, as you know, boxing is a business.
Yeah.
And if they can't make money off of you, they really don't care too much about you. And that's the crazy truth about boxing. It gets life as well. But it's sad to say, because these guys, they love boxing, and they go out there and try to represent and enjoy boxing in its in their desire to because of the love for boxing. But unfortunately, boxing is a business to a lot of these promoters, and this is why we're talking about all this stuff, because promoters, they're just, because of their actions, that create, I guess, separation for fans.
Well, going back to the step aside, oddly gifted bully kennel said, "Is step aside money pretty much just a free paycheck?" I mean, it is. They don't have to do anything.
They don't have to
for
do
it.
anything. They just
Yeah,
kind
they
of
just step aside.
step aside.
Yeah.
To the left, to the
Oh
left.
my goodness. How many times? Someone asked, how many times did Adonis do it? I guess he did it a few times. A few years ago is what Stormy B said. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that, okay, like for a unification or whatever, I think that should be like allowed. And yes, they need to pay for that. But if you're like just making a living on not being in the ring at all, I think there needs to be a
Well,
limited amount of step aside.
if there's a limit to how much you can fight without the mandatory, and then there's a mandatory, there should be a mandatory for the step aside. Like, you can't just keep stepping aside. Hop. I'm gonna start calling you Frogger.
Seagull.
Seagulls. There
Hey,
you
Clem
go.
Joseph. Timothy said, "Y'all really know your stuff when it comes to boxing, Rachel Nonito."
She does. I'm just in the back. I'm like, just the
Chilling.
just chilling.
San Diego greatest rapper said, "Should they lose their rank?" I think after a while, like mandatories that don't want to fight due to purse splits, um, ones that step aside, and ones that refuse to fight and they're in the ranking. Honestly, I think they should go.
Yeah.
I think that there should be something in the rules that says if you are a mandatory and we press the mandatory and you just don't like the pay, because you're a 35% split versus a 60-40, whatever, it doesn't matter, and you didn't even try to negotiate, and you're whining about that you're not on the A side for this because you're not the champion, then I think no, you shouldn't just be dropped one. I think you'd be dropped past 5. Watch that freaking hurt.
Yeah. Then everybody's gonna be fighting. I'm like, yeah, just what? I'll fight. Yeah.
How many people don't fight? I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally ridiculous. Like it's just when they get dropped that hard, it will hurt, and they're gonna be like, whoa.
They work all their life to get up to the top, and then they just want to lose it because they didn't want to fight. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me.
I got this one.
Hey. Hey.
Electro Jed says, "I have my book with me."
Rachel.
Why is it me?
Because you're gonna be answering the book
We got
question. I'm not. I'm just gonna agree. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree. You're gonna be like explaining everything and all of that stuff with your knowledge.
with my knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Electro Jet, we open up the channel in like 20 minutes, dude. And then you could come up and you can ask questions.
Yeah.
Can rankings be bought? Bought like how?
Okay, so they can be bought by a different approach, in my opinion, like, say, getting into fighting somebody who is ranked, and it's not, I mean, not buying the the ranking in itself, but just like getting to the level of fighting somebody that you can take who is ranked, right? Okay, you're just looking at me like,
What? I don't understand what you're saying.
don't worry, I concur, doctor. Just that's all you gotta say. Do you compare?
No, I don't compare because I don't know what you're saying.
All right, just go explain your stuff.
What was it? Can rankings be bought? Like, no, you can't just like
Buy
cash app
them. No, you can't.
Like, no.
But you can choose people, or like say for instance with me, like when I got the NABF, I was right off the bat top 15, right? But the person that I fought wasn't like great fighter. It was just, I mean, he was, I don't know.
So how is that buying?
By choosing, but I'm saying choosing in a different
Hey,
way.
you want to know how Nonito doesn't understand how this works? Because of this answer right now. Like, okay, so let me explain this because he's failing. He's a seagull.
Not buying that way. I'm not talking.
He's a seagull. Seagull. Okay. The way that it happens, Jay Miller said, okay, indirectly, got it. Kind of, sort of. Let me clarify.
See, thank you. He got it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. See, boom, make it rain.
No. So basically, when it comes to rankings and things like that, what you want to do is you want to get the approval and get it sanctioned. The fight in some sort of way, somehow. So you pick an opponent, whatever opponent, and the organization has to agree that if you fight this opponent and it's sanctioned by the WBZ, okay? I'm making up a thing.
Okay, WBZ.
The WBZ, you're going to fight this guy, you're going to pay your sanctioning fees, and because of that, you're going to move up 2 spots in the ranking. So is it really like buying a rank? Can you pay for a ranking? No. Could you set up your fighter in a way that he's not just randomly fighting anybody? That doesn't mean anything in the rankings. He's fighting to get to a better position due to the approval from the sanctioning body.
See, he says the knee bone is connected to the what bone? The thigh bone. See, he understand me.
Y'all are the ones drinking peanut butter coffee. The game gets frozen from dudes hogging up the ranks, taking up step asides. The Catterall Josh Taylor situation, step aside for T.O. is suspect. Catterall taking pay over undisputed is terrible. I don't think Catterall. Wait. That was just a rematch, though. I don't think Drew Titan says I hate boxing. Drew Titan. Catterall.
He beat him.
He was that. What? Josh won.
I mean, yeah.
And then they were supposed to have a
rematch.
But then it got postponed.
Twice. Right.
It's been like a year.
Yeah.
And so instead of going towards that, interestingly, the BO had turned around and mandated a 10-day negotiation period, not even just, and I feel like that 10 days is up soon. 10-day negotiation period between T.O. and Josh Taylor, which pushed out Catterall
out, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think he got a step aside at all for that. It was just a cancellation due to an injury, which you can't get paid off.
Right. Coach Ricky! That's my relative. We have the same last name and my mom's last name, Gonzalez.
Just arrived from my night joyride. Salute to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach
Ricky. Make sure when you're doing those night rides that you're, having a reflective equipment. So
so people can see you.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one. Is it highlighted? No. It's not highlighted.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
You're in control, okay?
I'm in control.
Hey!
Drew Titan with a $5 super chat. If anyone thinks this sport is fair and balanced, then Naniwala ako sa kaya. You read
that. He Googled that.
Yes. Go. You read it in Tagalog.
It say, naniwala ako na kaya kong lumipad.
I believe I can fly.
Basically, Drew Titan said, I believe I can fly in Tagalog in the R. Kelly.
Right.
Say it in an R. Kelly. Say it in that. Oh, sing it.
Sing it. I'm going to sing this song for you, bro.
Sing it for Drew Titan.
Well, how do you start the song?
Just sing the chorus.
I believe I can fly. Woo! I believe I can touch the sky.
Okay, that's enough.
And I want to rain the yellow
No.
rain
Stop talking
on
about-
you.
No, that was not even anywhere near the song lyrics.
Uh,
Oh my god.
See, I was on the verge of breaking down.
Breaking. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, so Mark Nash said, okay, does already have a check or receive that? Okay, wait. Let
12.
Everything is all out of order and whack.
Yeah.
Okay, so is step aside contingent if the fight actually happens? A fight is canceled due to injury. Did the step aside guy already have his check, or is he without pay like everyone else? He is out pay if he's stepping aside for a fight that does not happen.
Mm.
Now, the fight that, like, for example, the Crawford Spence thing, Stanionis had, negotiated his step aside fee, but because the fight never happened, he never had to step aside.
Step
That's-
aside when the golden shower stops
Stop.
coming down.
Oh my God, Drew Titan, look what you started. Basically, you can make a purse offer to a higher ranked person with lesser skills and beat that. Yes, you can. I mean, that's business. But it's very, very, very pertinent. Well, I think it's important that you contact the sanctioning body that you were speaking of to make sure that when you do beat this person, you take over his ranking spot. Like, you want to get that approved. You don't want it to be assumed. I like to trust but verify, but that's just me. I like to have it in writing that says if I'm going to fight this guy and I beat him, then I get his position or I move, whatever. Yellow rain, Mark Nash. See, look what you
Yellow.
started.
You see, he dehydrated. That's why he got the yellow rain on.
Yeah, you can't have. Yeah, look what I done started. Yeah, that thanks.
Golden shower.
Oh my God.
I believe I can fly. Woo.
Stanionis is my dark horse at welterweight.
Hmm.
Well, he has Virgil Ortiz to still fight that.
Yeah.
I think that's in April. But I mean, he still has to get through that, and that's on a golden.
I mean, there's a lot of great fighters in there, so it's
welterweight's a fun little
yeah, and you got
division.
boots in there too, got power, so yeah. It'll be very difficult if you lack the power compared to the other fighters.
Well, I mean, and a lot of the
But-
interesting stuff is is Spence even at welterweight anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Because if he does drop the IBF, then Boots automatically becomes the IBF champion at 147. He's the
Yeah.
interim,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else do we got?
I mean, ultimately, when you just it's I'm so lost.
Oh, because you read this one here. I'll read this one. That one. So
No,
this
no,
one
I'm
is
talking
asking
about the
a
shower.
press conference on Battle of the YouTubers. Larson, I don't watch that crap.
I wasn't even talking about that.
Oh, well, I was talking about it. I'll address it. I don't watch it. You know why? Because it's just acting. It's like worse than WWE at this point.
Golden showers.
Golden shower.
Seagulls. Don't worry about
How
this.
would boxing want boxing? How would fans want boxing to fail? Because of the how would boxing fans want it's not because Kennedy for men, it's not because they want it to fail, but wanting a
promotional
company
to fail
or a TV network
or
a
TV network, yeah, to fail is what is the demise of boxing. If you have no network and promotion to promote the fight, guess what? There is no fight, and guess what? The boxing fails. That's pretty much what we're saying. What?
Read that one.
I can't read it. Is it? No need. You gotta sing R. Kelly's "Best Pee on You." Yeah, I just wanna pee on you. I don't know the golden
I
shower.
don't think that's a song. I think he's telling you you mix one of the songs.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right, we're gonna drop the link, guys, and then you guys can come up for about the last half of the show.
Yeah, let's have a conversation, man.
Okay, I got a copy. Copy. Hey. Jed, you can't do your whole notebook.
Yeah.
Jed's even still here.
Yeah.
You mean Showtime, but they'll. Oh, you mean Showtime, but they'll be around. Not just Showtime.
No, we're just saying that like if fans are wishing, promotions to fail, guess what? There's no fight. That means there's no fighting networks if there's no promotion to make the promotion, to make the fight happen.
Yeah, not just Showtime, not just ESPN, not just anyone really. It's more so the fact that when we don't have these outlets anymore, for example, yeah, okay, let's say Showtime fails. Okay, well, what would happen to Benavides Plant? Like all the fighters that are on PBC, all the fighters that are on Showtime Boots, like where are they gonna go? And so for me as a boxing fan, like I don't wish for the downfall because I do watch Top Rank shows. I do watch Matchroom. I do watch Golden Boy. Based on who's fighting. So I don't look at it like, ooh, they're on a competing platform. Screw them. I'm not going to give them the numbers because I'm a boxing fan. I'm not a promotional fan. And so I want like more options to watch fights. I remember there was one Saturday, I don't know if you remember this, but it was one Saturday where they had the Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgartner fight, Clarissa Shields. Then there was the Caleb Plant versus the dude he knocked out.
Yeah.
Darrell.
Darrell.
And then there was a big heavyweight dude. That was that night too. Then there was another card in addition to that card. Like that whole it was from
it was big. It was
noon to like midnight. Ding dong.
Is that it? The second one?
No.
There we go.
Mark Nash.
Mark Nash, what's up? What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's good? I was at the door for a minute. I was about to start beeping the horn in a second. How y'all feel?
Nash to the channel.
There it is.
Shout out to Jarrell's air horns. What's poppin', family? How y'all feel? I love this topic right here. I was just ranting and raving about this stuff today, and I got a different perspective after hearing you guys. Sorry, my baby right there. Let me say this. I want to say this. I think one of the issues, fans and not just fans, content creators too, they think they know more about the business than the pros. And they have this let's burn it all down and rebuild type mentality, but ain't got no money to invest to really to rebuild. You're not about to get no network. You're not about to start a promotional company. You're not going to get a license. You don't even want to buy the fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where we at with it right here. It's a lot of I think I know better than the people who've been doing this their whole life type thing. And you guys seen it, even when you guys sometimes go on shows and panels, you guys are trying to tell people about the business of boxing. And I see it all the time. They want to go back and forth. Ain't never seen a contract. This dude tried to tell you who gives you the belt. I was like, he got a wall full of belts back there. And you trying to talk to no Nitos on there about, well,
and I guess I was wrong when it comes down to that. Like, I didn't know what I was talking about.
He was like, my man, I got one right here on the wall. I got another one. Go get yours and we'll talk about it. Right? Like, that was crazy. Like that's how delusional the fans are. Literally, you had the belts behind you, and we're talking about things like why, who, and then they kept. I mean, shit like that. Even Rachel, when we talk about, sometimes you'll be telling us how it works with a promoter, who pays who. No, the check didn't come from Doe. The check came from the promoter. Blah 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 blah. Well, who paid for it? How they get this on the ring? And he don't have that much in his bank account. Like, it don't come from his bank account. Like, to pay the fighter. So it's just weird energy. Weird. I got to put a case on them, but
I
got to put a case on them. I think that's what it is. Like, I never thought of it until now. See, I thought it was just the YouTube daddies, as I like to call them. And they're, you create a narrative and you build your tribe and your following off your narrative.
Yeah.
And it spreads. It can go contagious. If you ain't you ain't like our show, you ain't like the flow, you ain't what we saying and our narrative, you got to go. Time him out. Take his wrench. Get him out of here. So I think that's where I'm at with it. And I think they don't understand, like, look, options are a beautiful thing. It's good for the sport, it's good for the boxer, and it's good for you as the fan. It makes the market more competitive. So having a trailer wasn't a bad thing. People just didn't like Triller because it was new. BLK Prime. I remember when the Zone came in, people didn't like it. It was like the same thing. It's always a smear campaign, and it's like to try to turn down and take down something that's new, different, innovative. So I just think fans got to let the pros do their job. Trust that they know what they're doing. If you like the product that they put out there, purchase the product. You don't like the product, don't buy the product. But you guys trying to burn down the whole building. People are celebrating the AB fight got canceled. Weirdo shit. I mean, excuse me, weirdo energy. And I'm like, we got to do better.
Yeah.
And it starts with the content creators too. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, well, that's what's so weird to me. Like I said, like I woke up this morning and I'm like, dude, we need to talk about this. I'm like wishing any of the promotional companies harm or for them to close down. Like, dude, I want to watch, like, as much as like, okay, we're not signed to Top Rank. I do want to watch Tio versus Josh Taylor. I like Josh Taylor, and Tio, has his own personality. So, and I want to see if he's going to actually show up for this fight. So, things like that. Like, I'm like, I would not want them to go out of business because I want to watch the damn fight. But I don't know what these people are talking about anymore. And welcome to the show, Drew Titan. I'm going to the bathroom because I feel like you guys are talking about golden showers.
Wow.
Golden showers.
Salute, man. And before I get my 2 cents, man, Mark Nash, that was a hell of an interview you did. I referred so many people to the interview a couple of days ago that you did, man. That was
why you ain't leave a comment on it, Drew?
No, I mean a lot of, I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of the times I'm at work and I'm not even supposed to have my phone out. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm sneaking in the break, I like, we got bosses everywhere, so I can't be doing what I do. But I listened to it. I did smash that like button, and I referred so many people to that interview. Man, oh man, oh man. I got questions, man. I'm 2 seconds from texting Roy like, yo, what's going on, dogs? What happened? But I don't think I'll get a straight answer because this is
nah, man. It ain't no excuse for what Roy did right there, man. At the end, right there, that kid won't gonna change nothing in less than 24 hours sparring the second time.
Yeah, man.
What's wrong for that?
It's all bad business. It's all bad business, man. My 2 cents on this is look. To hope that something fails in boxing is the hope that the sport fails in a whole.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things that I don't tolerate are drug cheats, and I can't stand that. I can't stand that. Outside of that, promote like these companies. I'll give you a prime example. I wasn't even doing content when DAZN popped up. They seemingly came out of nowhere. And the talk of the town, I was on Facebook at the time. The talk of the town was DAZN is going to change boxing, and they were fixated on buying up all the PBC fighters, and this guy Eddie Hearn was going to come take over. And I was on Facebook at the time, and I said, well, look, here's the deal. I don't care who takes over boxing as long as we get in the fights that we want. I mean, I really didn't care. I mean, like, if Eddie Hearn comes up and he had this endless $1 billion bag for some Russian I never heard of, I didn't know anything about that. So he comes over. If he comes over and he legitimately dumps money everywhere and buys up these fighters and we start getting what we want, isn't that what we want? That's what we wanted, right? So, I mean, look, that's just what it is. But to hope that a company fails is to hope that boxing fails. You got to understand, if a company collapses, they got a bunch of fighters that are now out of work. Case in point, MTK Global was ran by this dude, Daniel Kinahan. We all know that he's a notorious gangster. All right. There's a no-fly list. From what I heard, there's like 1,000 fighters that needed work. Those guys are not working. Not all of them are gangsters. They were there to get paid and fight for money. They're prize fighters. So that's the flip side. Daniel Kinahan was a bad dude, but he had guys fighting under that label that just say, hey, man, we got money. So, we could, this guy's going to pay us to fight. MTK Global was here and gone. Now, a lot of those guys ain't got no work. So that's the downside of it. So when I ask the question, like, what kind of fans are we really? That's a real question. That's a real question. You understand? So, sidebar, Nonito,
Yes, sir.
look in the chat. Look at Jimmy the Bully. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
You see what he's saying?
Yeah.
This is why I don't go everywhere. I don't know who that
Yeah.
dude is, but obviously, look at it. Drew Titan, the snitch cop who shot up black kids for master. I don't know where he's getting that. But when I say dudes be on my dick so hard, they need a saddle for this horse. That's what I'm talking about. Obviously, he got a problem with Deontay Wilder. No one was talking about Deontay. And he comes in here with this. So yeah, DLG, this is what I'm dealing with. See, that's a guy that you take with a wrench and you bop him upside his head.
Man, Drew, fuck that shit.
Guys
Don't
like
get
that.
distracted by that shit, man. Let's stay
Yeah,
on point, man. The chat gonna chat, man. Fuck that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I get a lot of these people too all over,
yeah,
man. And
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
me,
yeah,
you know, they I mean, everywhere, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
I am God. I am God. All right.
yeah,
I probably blocked him like 3 years ago, and he's still here. All right. I am a God. So keep talking me up, but keep talking me
Yeah.
up, Jimmy the Bully. But anyway, eat the dick.
You know, these
Um,
let me talk on this real quick, Drew. You know, there's a lot of people that have disagreements and they don't, you know, support you or your opinion just based on one thing. And people could do that to us as well. I mean, it is what it is. Fortunately or unfortunately, we have a free country. And the thing is with YouTube is we have the authority to speak. Anybody else can also open up their own YouTube channel and do the same. What I love is the fact that we have the opportunity to express our own opinions. I think, you know, like I've been on Mark's, I've been on Drew's, I've been on different other channels, and we can agree to disagree. And that doesn't mean I'm going to come after you because you don't see what I believe. Like I've talked to Mark about this, and I've said it, I think, on the channel yesterday. My question for Roy, really for just Roy, is I don't care about the back and forth. I don't care what Michael Williams Sr. says, what Junior says, and what Roy says at this point, because I'm never going to know. I wasn't a fly on the wall at that conversation. My questions are: why did he spar twice in a row? Why was he fighting, sparring a guy that was
6 feet tall.
5'11" to 6 feet when Adrian Broner's like 5'4", maybe 5'5". And
why are you sparring on fight week like that?
well, okay, so with
well, that's a
Nonito,
different story for a lot of people, right? For me, I do spar because I want to get my peak on the week before, right? But because I know how to cut weight properly, a lot of people don't know how to cut weight because I used to be like that. And so the week before, we'd have no energy. We'll most likely get injured if we spar because we're dried out. And you know, for me, I learned how to do it properly, that I can spar 100% the week before. But the majority of the boxers don't know how to do my process. And so the week of the fight, or the week before, they slow down a lot. Everybody slows down a lot because that's the time where everybody's cutting weight.
well, it's not just that though. It's you know, it's literally about knowing your sparring partners. I think in this generation right now with social media, there's a lot of people taking out their cameras. Nonito has a closed gym, private gym, no cameras out, and the guys that we bring in for sparring, they respect Nonito. They come back, right? They come back to help Nonito because they're learning from Nonito, and they don't want to have something happen to him because they're, you know, it's doghouse rules the week before the fight. It's work. What it is work. You're, as a sparring partner, you're supposed to you're supposed to challenge them for sure.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to take them out and like be.
Well, that's the thing too. That's the thing too, is that because I believe that fractures like that are not done with just one punch or one sparring or one round, you know. And that's something that I learned as a fighter, is that like I could say, hey, we're sparring 10 rounds today, right? And then all of a sudden, man, I got caught with something that hurts my jaw or something, I'm gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna step back for a minute, man. I'm done. There's no question. I'm just gonna be like, you know what? Because there's times that I got hurt, my rib got hurt, or my jaw got hurt, and I said, you know what? Hey, I'm gonna take this. I know it's only the fourth round or the second round. I'm done. We'll see you guys next week. That's it.
Yeah, and
You know
there's
what I
other
mean?
times where he said 10 rounds and I don't know, he either didn't get enough sleep the night before or he ate something bad and whatever, and after like 6, he looks like shit. And by 7, 8, I'm like, hey, it's not doing us a benefit anymore.
Yeah.
We're just
If you're getting hurt in there, you shouldn't be going any more rounds.
yeah.
That's another thing that fighters need to listen to themselves. Fighter needs to understand themselves and be aware of every situation. And at the same time, um, you can't control the other person, right? You can't control the other person. So you have to protect yourself at all times.
Well, and I think that it's like I said, it's very important to know who you're sparring with, and if this is just a clout chase for him to be able to try to knock you before the fight. And those are the people that we don't work with.
Yeah.
But I would think that I mean, I haven't had a bilateral mandibular fracture, but I'm just assuming that once you get hit,
it hurts. I'm like, what's time out,
Like-
something's wrong with my jaw.
yeah.
I mean, he toughed it out, but you can't be toughing it out in the sparring when you got to fight the next week. I'm like, yo, you got to chill.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
But those are my two biggest questions. Like, riddle me this. Like, why the two sparrings in a row, Monday and Tuesday, and
But
why
again,
the
and
five
I know, I understand. He's just, he listens to Roy and all that stuff. But as a fighter, I'm like, yo, I'm not sparring another day, man. I got a good sparring. I'm not gonna spar the next day.
That's why my question is for Roy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm saying for the fighter, it's
you're
like you
saying he
have to
shoulda said
listen to
no.
your body. He should have said no. You know what I mean?
Come on, you've seen these boxing.
But I
shows.
understand though, because Roy is very influential. Like if Roy said, go spar, I'm like, I'm gonna spar. Because Roy said it. I'm a fan of Roy. I'm a friend of Roy. I gotta respect him. This dude is he knows what he's talking about.
I mean, you're different because Kenny Adams told you not to spar Ubali and you still went.
Yeah, I'm hard headed. I'll do whatever.
That was tough to listen to, man. That was real tough. When he was on Mark's channel, man. I was like, oh my God, man. That's because as I've spoken to Roy a few times, but watching him growing up, saying you as a fan, you put him on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And then when you hear this, you're like, oh my God, what the hell was he doing?
Yeah.
It's bad, man. It's that was bad. That was bad. Oof.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that you could hear it in Senior's voice that he was, hurt, taking it personal as well because this is his son, right? And you, as a parent, you think about things like, could have this been prevented? Should I have listened? Like you heard him say it on Mark's channel numerous times, like I failed my son. And it's so I understand where he's coming from, and I felt the hurt. And like you were saying, Drew, the thing is that love Roy as a boxer, love Roy as a friend. As far as the trainer, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah,
we're not in the.
Well, I've had worked with Roy a couple of times, and he has a lot of good stuff to say. Although I wouldn't go in depth, and we didn't. It was just one or two times he had suggested to do this or do that, and I thought it was great. But being there and to be trained, it's a different story.
Yeah.
So
we get, and we're never, listen, as much as we do have the friendships and relationships within boxing, shoot, you guys know this from day one, we're in Bud's corner when it comes to the fight, but at the end of the day, can I compartmentalize and be like, listen, this side of it is not what I think it should be, right? We have to be able, well, at least we want to have integrity in not protecting and allowing them to have to, say it for themselves what really happened. Because as a fan, I have these questions for Roy. And it's not any disrespect. It's just I'm trying to understand his mentality as a trainer as to why this occurred, and how do you prevent it from going on the next time? Is
Right.
this something that he's like, you know what, next time for sure, we're like you said, Drew, maybe next time he's gonna say, okay, 14 days out, we're gonna stop sparring, or I'm never gonna put Monday and a Tuesday sparring. I don't know. What is the
Well,
caution? What's the
Roy was
solution?
very old school. Excuse me, old school. You know, they fought, they sparred, and they sparred. One of those old school fights.
So you're saying they used to spar every day, kind of thing.
Yeah, but that should have been a way to learn about how to go about with with training other people. You know what I'm saying? Like when I train people, I don't just, like, for me, right? So example, the Price brothers. Both of them tried to fight the same way with speed and all of that stuff. But the younger brother, I said, you have power, you have a different way of fighting. I'm gonna teach you a different way of a different style. So I put a different style for both of them according to their physical abilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then that will go all the way back to like Eubank, right? Sorry, we have somebody else in the chat. That'll go back to Eubank, where he looked like he was trying to be. Hold on, I'm gonna go. Hey, Marvel, are you there? When you're back on cam, I'll let you in. Is when Eubank started looking. Remember when he came out and he started looking like Roy?
Right, right. I mean, a lot of people idolized Roy. I idolized Roy growing up, the way he fought and all of that stuff. But it's going back into the whole situation. It's very difficult to say no to somebody you idolize, right? It's very difficult to say no to somebody who's been there and done that. They have the experience. That's why they're one of the best at their time. So who are you to say no to somebody who's done it already? That's all I'm saying.
And now
Right.
inside
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, yeah. This is the inside of the boxing gym, right? Like you have the respect. You don't want to disappoint. You don't want to be like combative, but like where does this balance occur?
For sure. I just want to echo one of those points that you said. It's probably difficult to tell Roy no, and according to Mike Sr., the kid never told Roy no in 5 years. Roy was the first one that took interest in him. So yeah, they went with Roy. They knew it wasn't the optimal situation as far as doing split camps, but they made it work. It's Roy. So when you're dealing with those dynamics, as well as the guy just told you you're not ready, you should pull out the fight, which I'm still trying to figure out, how are you going to tell BLK and Increase the Mark Promotions you're not doing the fight? My trainer said I'm not ready, so we're not fighting. I didn't know that you can just do that in boxing contracts. I didn't know that that's how it works. You just say, hey, I changed my mind. I don't want to do the fight no more. That's how that works. Never heard of it. I didn't know that. So
Never heard of it.
yeah, so right. So you couple that with the guy just told you you're not ready. He wants you to pull out. You said, nah, coach, I'm still going, I'm fighting. I'm fighting AB, coach. Like, man, what are you on? Like, why you keep telling me to get out this fight?
Right.
Well, get dressed. You're gonna go spar again. What was gonna change in 24 hours? And also, the biggest thing is in Roy's interview, he said, "Well, I can't put no guy in there with a 10 round fight 10 rounds, and you ain't never fought. I ain't never seen you fight 10 rounds before. Why is the first time you seen him fight 10 rounds on the 13th? The fight is on the 25th. Whether you like the way he look or not, the fight is on the 25th. Get him ready for the fight the best you can, and it ain't going in there doing like the kid had to tell Roy, well, coach, can I do like 5 or 6 rounds? Can I do that? Because like what he thinking he about, like, damn, man, I don't want to do this. And let's not forget, your body needs time to heal. Your defense probably is slacking a little bit the next day. Cause these guys are switching out every 3 rounds. I'm trying to hold my guard up. My muscles are tired. My body is aching. Yeah, so your guard ain't as tight as it should be. Your legs ain't moving as good, so you can get out of the way and avoid the punches. So I just think that shit was very. I know better than that.
Well,
You
what's
know what I'm
funny
saying?
that there's like, there's people that there are trainers that would rather do 6 rounds 4 days in a row, and they think that that's actually going to be more beneficial than doing 2 fight days, like let's just say Monday and Friday, like he does, and doing more rounds, right? So 6 rounds on Monday, 8 rounds on Friday, right? And you're right. If you're continuously like if you're 100% on Monday and then Tuesday, Wednesday, by Thursday sparring, you're crap. You're literally crap if you're doing this every single day. And it's more benefit. The fact that you're trying to split up the sparring and say we had that many rounds, no, a 12 round split into 6 parts or 12 rounds split into 2 parts is a totally different stamina.
But I'm gonna go on a different note on this. It's a different story if you have a fighter you've been grooming and he's gonna be world champion and he's a tremendous fighter and then he wasn't just ready going into the fight, right? But you're getting a guy who's decent, who can box, who can fight, but hasn't really shown up as much of a thing. You know, Roy put a interest in him, and because maybe he believes that he can change him, and he felt like he didn't do enough to prove to Roy that he should fight for this fight. But you already know the capability of this kid. You know, not to dish the kid or anything that way, but you know he is not like a Boots Ennis or something, right? Where I'm like, oh, hold on, you know what? Something happened. Let's just because there's times that fighters are not ready and they're like, you know what? They just say he's injured this time, and so guess what? They say he's injured and the fight gets pushed. You know, even though he didn't get injured, right? Things like that happens.
Well, that's what San Diego's greatest rapper said isn't there contractual obligations? I mean, yes, for sure. Once you have the fight signed, like unless you have a what is it called? Unless you have an injury, that's the only way that you can get out of that contractual obligation without getting in trouble.
Wait, I'm gonna turn on your mic a little bit.
Test,
Yeah,
test,
you got it. Okay.
test. Okay.
No, it's somebody's in here too.
Is there face?
Yeah.
I'm just making sure there's a face. Oh, Jed's gonna come with like 20,000 questions now.
But let me go into my point of view though. Oh, he got the
Jed, it has to be about this topic.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta run, family, man. Much love to y'all, man. Much love.
Appreciate you,
coming
brother.
God bless, Joe. Peace,
Big
bro.
walk, man. Peace, peace. Electro, peace, peace.
Joe, it's all love, bro. It's all love, bro.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, Mark? How you doing, brother?
What's good, my G? How you feel?
Better. I'm feeling better.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm out and about. And I'm talking to two of my favorite people, especially my favorite boxer in the whole world. So.
Well, that's so nice of you. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you saying that. Oh, you talking about Rachel, your other favorite person? I thought you talking about me and Nonito. Thought you talking about me and Nonito.
You're up there, Mark. You're up there. But these two, Rachel and I have talked, and I've made her sick with my questions. And Nonito, well, there's nothing need to be said there. But yes, you're up there too.
Thank you, brother.
But,
Yeah.
I just came back because I had put a couple of questions out there earlier, but you said that you want to keep it to Valdez.
Who? What? We're not even talking about Valdez. I said this topic.
What was it? I just walked in and said, "Oh no, I can get in." What was the topic? Because I just walked back into the room.
So do boxing fans want boxing to fail? Because like we're talking about how like promotional companies, like just saying that the PBC, like PBC is gonna fail or Matchroom, and they don't understand that as a boxing fan, if you take away these promotional companies and these network deals, that we will see less of boxing. And I don't feel like
is that true though? Because we had less networks before, in my opinion. We had less networks before. If you look back in the 80s, and I know it's cliche to talk about the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that, but when we had boxing events,
And we lost Jed. Jed. Yeah, so
that's him, right?
Oh, I want to say, yeah, he froze. I'll say this because I remember talking about this on my show a while back. A lot of times we had a lot of free boxing. People was talking about Friday, Saturday night fights. But what happened in those times in the 70s and 80s leading up to now, America's biggest sports took over. Like NFL expanded. The NFL expanded and the NBA really expanded. You got more teams, and so it puts boxing on the back burner. So they got those network deals. So that's what really changed. Also, the amateur system in America, they stopped giving away college scholarships, like in places like Michigan for boxing. Colleges, you can get a scholarship sometimes for boxing. I think Michigan was one of the last places. They stopped doing it. So now guys don't want to go amateur. They want to go pro. Go if I'm and then they took away headgear in the amateur. So they was like, if I'm gonna get hit in the head, might as well get paid for it. So it's a
Yeah.
lot of things that change. So when you get a Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, these guys had a fan base from the Olympics already going into their pro career. That shit is, excuse me, that stuff is gone now, and
Well,
it's not just boxing is failing. Sports just expanded.
yeah, there's a kid on the Boxing Voice yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I was folding laundry, so it was yesterday. That his dad was, he was bringing him all around the U.S. to spar to get like experience from East Coast fighters and some from California, and just getting him just getting the experience. And they had asked him about the Olympics because it just kept sounding like the team, the father and the son, were really focused on going pro when he turns 18. I think maybe he's like 14 right now. The problem with it is that they said, they're like, so are you thinking of going towards the Olympics? And what's interesting is, like, they were talking about it, that for the LA Olympics, the one that's supposed to be in Los Angeles, boxing's not really on there right now. And they don't know yet if boxing.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Who?
Okay, Seagulls.
Yeah, no. No, yeah.
Really?
I talked to Christine. When I talked to Christine, she said they're gonna be at the Olympics. She said that's a
Are
rumor.
they?
Yeah, and
I know that they have to approve it, right? So,
I know
the
she's in Bulgaria right now. Um, she's with Team USA right now in Bulgaria. I don't know what they're doing there, but I asked her specifically. I said, "Hey, yeah, I heard that we're not gonna have a boxing team at the Olympics." She said that's not true.
Oh. Well, I mean, I know, like, whenever they have a host country, that they're pretty much allowed to pick and choose, if like which sport. But I thought boxing was on the chopping block. Well, I mean, like I said, I think
Well,
that's
they have. Well, that was the French one, right? Where they have the break
breakdancing.
dancers and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's breakdancing for the France Olympics.
And then they taking the taekwondo out as well.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Possible.
I don't
But
know.
I mean, I know we've had conversations of taekwondo being in it and then not being in it, then being in it and then not being in it.
Right.
And they're fighting for their spot to still, like, stay in the sport. But
Yeah.
boxing has been there for so long.
Hey, look, what kind of world we in where they taking out boxing and taekwondo, but we got breakdancing?
We got breakdancing. Yep. Exactly. I'm looking it up. Los Angeles Olympics boxing.
Welcome back, Jed.
I apologize about that. We had a little bit of a brownout here. A lot of wind outside. So
Oh,
something
so
hit
did
something.
we.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No, it was me.
September 7, 2022, boxing set to be omitted from 2028 Los Angeles Olympic Games. IOC would not recommend boxing be included in 2028.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
What date is the article?
December 2022.
And that's from where?
That's from Marca. The other one was September 2022 from the Zone. TeamUSA.org actually made a statement regarding 2028 Olympics.
That's crazy.
Okay. Don't be upset.
I'm very, very upset.
No, that is upsetting. I mean, really?
I mean, this sport has been from the very beginning.
But they're putting in breakdancing.
I mean, I can't.
I'm just playing with you. Don't get upset.
Nah, breakdancing really isn't gonna be in the Olympics though. That's not a joke. Google it.
Okay, here we go. USA Boxing statement regarding 2028 Olympics. Recently, the IOC announced the approved core sports program for the 2028 LA Olympic Games. As expected, boxing was not on the list. Even though it was on the original list submitted and approved in 2017. Over the past 3 years, the IOC has played a critical role in keeping the sport of boxing in the Olympic movement, despite the challenges faced by the IOC, the IBA, through the implementation of the IOC's boxing task force, overseeing all aspects of qualification, as well as the organization of boxing at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The IOC invested in amateur Olympic style boxing by committing massive amounts of time, energy, and resources to allow the sport to continue. While so it's an IBA thing, because IBA serves its suspension and corrects areas of governance, change of leadership, and address the culture of corruption. So it's not more so of the fact that they're like boxing sucks. It's because of what happened with the IBA, that they want some governance and a way of making sure that who's going to Olympics is actually qualified and wasn't bought a position, is from what I understand.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, everything in the world is corrupted. So one corruption to another. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's so crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is insane.
So they
Boxing's
have
been
to
part of the
fulfill
Olympics.
requirements set forth by the IOC to build a strong foundation for Olympic style boxing. So I think because of the fact that it's kind of up in the air with IBA and what has happened and what they need to change over, it's a little bit it's unclear if they've worked out those, the corruption, the manipulation, and having the guidance over overseeing like who is going to the Olympics. And so I think that's why they're saying like no boxing until y'all figure this shit out.
Jeez.
It's not the sport.
What is your opinion on that, madam?
I mean, I think that I've seen it in taekwondo. Like taekwondo has gone from, USTU to USAT to, I don't know, I think it's USA Taekwondo now. Where there were certain powers back when I was fighting. It was all Korean. Taekwondo is a Korean sport, but within the United States, like we were seeing a lot of corruption because of the grandmasters that were all put in power between the head of refs, the head of the Olympic team. They were all like freaking siblings.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that's his godfather and that's his granddaughter and things
Yeah.
like that. Then they overthrew that and created a whole new committee. So the question is how long is it going to take for them to
Create a new
establish a committee and make sure there's checks and balances so that the right person goes to the Olympics and it's not a bot system.
Okay.
Yeah, with that, but I really don't see nothing. I see nothing wrong with them wanting to gut the system and then try to rebuild it. I'm fine with that because
Yeah.
the amateur boxing commission has been flawed from day one.
Mhm.
If anyone disagrees with that, then all you have to do is look at its history.
Yeah.
Right? And you get people getting into the Olympics that have obviously we should have been lower in the ranks compared to some other people that should have been in the Olympics. So
Yeah.
you have things like that, and when you were talking about the Taekwondo, that's obvious nepotism going on, and we can't have it. So I get it. They got to get it and fix it. No problem. As long as they do it in time.
Yeah, that's going to be the case, right? Is
Right.
being able to establish and show that they're abiding by the rules and that they fix the problems that the IOC was having with them. Then we'll be able to see it. But it's starting to be a thing where people are not wanting to. Why go the amateur route, right? Like Mark was saying, like they're the amateurs are now, as far as Olympic goes, they have no headgear and they're not getting paid. Yes, it's for the glory of, the Olympic medal, right? But that Olympic medal doesn't pay bills. Like it might for
No.
the first year, but after those, but once the qualifications and the next Olympic rolls around, like you're done. Like it's not like the professional fights that when you fight again, you'll have, a paycheck. So what really keeps these kids in the amateur rankings besides experience?
Well, yeah. Well, I was in the middle of trying to explain something earlier, which really actually falls into this, and that is this. We were talking about the boxing and its relative and its popularity here in the United States. You know, I was saying earlier that the U.S. boxing fan is spoiled. We as boxing fans are spoiled. And I feel because we expect a certain thing a certain way, um, and we don't get it, we all break off into different branches, and you get such divisiveness in the community, and
Mhm.
it can be as toxic as hell. And and that's a big part of the problem. But when we had boxing in the 80s and the 90s, we had three basic networks: ABC, CBS, and NBC that promoted boxing and promoted fighters, and we had huge boxing events that were free. Then you had the mega events that were on CCTV. You remember that, right, Nonito?
Yeah, yeah.
CCTV, but and and and, and then HBO came in. The fewer networks we had, it seemed like more popular boxing was, and and the boxers themselves were responsible for promoting themselves. Like for instance, when Sugar Ray Leonard came out of the Olympics with his gold medal, all right, he was very popular. He took advantage of that, sold his brand to Pepsi or Coca. Yeah, it was Pepsi. He made himself uh, uh, a a a a well-known figure. Fighters like Marvin Hagler and Thomas the Hitman Hearns and Duran, these guys sold themselves. You don't see that now. Now you got people like you know what? I'm going to keep names out of it. But we got people
I was like, name.
because I know how you feel. I know how you feel, so I'm going to keep you guys neutral. I'm going to keep names out of it. But we have people on Instagram. That's a niche. That's a niche following. Now and then you got people on TikTok. You got people on YouTube, so you have all these niche followers. And then you have all these different platforms that the fighters are fighting on. You got PBC, you got Top Rank, you got Probellum, you have Gold. You have all these different promotions and all these different platforms and all these different networks. It's so confusing, and everybody wants pay per view, and it's costing too much money. It's creating the decline in the fandom in boxing, in my opinion. You need to make it simple. Simple is always better, in my opinion. Right now, it's just too confusing. And I
Well,
think
I think like the only problem about simplifying it, like if we talk about the UFC model is like, they pretty much own the fighters. They all their Twitter handles are all the same. It's all promoting UFC. They don't get to just sign on to any endorsement. Their name, of course, everything is within house, and the belt is stays with the UFC. I mean, look at Francis. Was it Francis?
Guanyo,
Yeah,
Frances Bambam.
yeah, the fact that he was negotiating out a contract extension, and he didn't agree with it, and he wanted to be able to negotiate more. They just said, okay, well, we strip you because it's our belt, not yours, and since you don't agree to the contract, we're going to just say bye. And I think I think that's a conflict of interest when you have an organization that holds the belt that also has the say over your career. I think that it ends up putting you in a corner with less options. And it should be separated. I think there should be, if UFC
I
is going to
mean,
have their own
there's
belt.
so many things that we can correct in boxing. That's the most unfortunate thing is because there's so many things, and this is why people are going back and forth and just kind of having their own team, PBC team, top ranked team.
Mhm.
Is because boxing has a lot of work to do, has a lot of things to be changed. And unfortunately, they don't give a shit about it.
Yeah. But
It's plain
that's
and
what I'm
simple.
saying about. But what I'm saying about UFC is that when you simplifying it by putting everything under one banner, right? Like it causes a conflict of interest and corners boxers to not have a choice. Like so for Francis, like it's not like he was able to take
Well,
his belt.
that's how UFC was designed, right?
I know, but what
But
I'm
if you put
saying,
a one in-house kind of thing with boxing, I mean, you have so many promoters, is what I'm saying, right?
Mhm.
So all of that, it's not gonna work because everybody want their own thing, unless PBC has his own stuff and they do it like all in-house like UFC, and then it's gonna be like Bellator and all this other stuff coming in, competing with UFC. It's gonna be just like that,
mm,
and it just takes away for a lot of the fighters because Bellator and UFC, their fighters can't cross,
yeah,
right?
no,
So you're only gonna be watching whoever they sign to be with their sign. So going back into those people saying that they, the in-house, like we were talking about, the in-house kind of fighting, it's pretty much like the UFC and MMA, different MMA platform or organization. They're
Mhm.
fighting on their own. The only thing with boxing is there's sanctioning that is mandating fighters to fight, and then they go to purse bid if nothing is negotiated,
yes, or they just drop out
or they just drop out or step aside
or go to a different organization.
yeah. Yeah. So, but that's all I'm saying is it's such a thing with boxing. We just can't. No one's ever going to be happy with whatever result that we get with what we want. It's just no one's ever going to be happy. It's like me, right? You get people that love me, and there's a lot of people that don't like me, and that's fine with me. But there's just always going to be those things, and for everybody else's channel. Like Mark has these people and has his haters as well.
Mm.
Drew, everybody. So that's just how it's going to be, regardless if you want to bring out the best content for people to have. There's just going to be people that just don't like things, and that's just how it is. It's going to be with boxing, and why you get all these people trying to make boxing fail by stating that this promotion should whatever.
Yeah, no. So in the end, Jed, I understand what you're saying to simplify it, but there really isn't a one network that has the unlimited money, capacity, etc. to be able to house all fighters every single weekend in addition to Fridays and possibly a Wednesday. Like that streaming service, whether it's Showtime, ESPN, etc., is limited to the dates and times that they're allowed to have these boxing fights due to the fact that we're in America. We have to compete with football and basketball and God knows whatever sport, hockey. Look at, oh my God, what fight was it that we were watching that they had to do a timeout because they were doing the hockey like
Oh yeah.
puck off or something. Puck off.
Fuck off.
What is it? Which fight was it? Was it
I know what you're talking about, but there was a lot of
recently.
fights like that
where
though.
they just stopped the stream
Yeah.
and they said we'll be back after the
Right.
hockey?
It was on
something.
ESPN. It was a top ranked thing card,
Yeah.
and there was a one of the thing was the football, and they had to do something, and they had to kind of pause in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, like it's things like that it doesn't work to allow for just let's just give it all to
Oh, I say it was
ESPN.
Navarrete's fight.
Yeah, it was. Was it Navarrete?
There was the football one was Navarrete's fight where they had to kind of push him out the other way.
But the puck off was a different fight.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the non-birthday one, remember?
Yeah.
And then the other one we were watching, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. There's like, we have to wait like 15 or 30 minutes to the main event. But so again, like just having to be able to watch, to put all these things under one umbrella, like put them all under ESPN. I guarantee you that they're not going to be able to afford it, be able to put the programming in. And so that's the problem when we're like, oh, well, we should cut the legs off of Showtime. Okay, well, where do you think, or how do you think that boxing is going to be able to survive. Where as it stands today, top rank, PBC, Golden Boy, Matchroom, they can give a rat's fat butt what card they're competing against, because literally these guys are going for one certain date. The reason they're going for one certain date, these select dates within a month, is because there isn't like the Super Bowl that they're going to have to compete with. They strategically put these around other sports, at least in America, for the streaming, so that they would get the amount of fans to be able to watch the sport, but without um the plethora or the options of different streaming
Plethora.
services. For example, if it was only on DAZN and it's in the UK and they have some big soccer game or something like that, we can't they wouldn't schedule it during that exact date, right? Same thing here in the US with football, basketball, and hockey, and whatever else that we watch.
my my
Yeah.
my my issue. Listen, first of all, UFC is basically a monopoly. I don't suggest a monopoly because that never ends up well. Because
Yeah.
I feel that the fighters in the UFC are being screwed over. I personally feel that way, but that's a different story altogether. I'm not encouraging a monopoly. No way. That
Okay.
that
All
that,
right.
that
Good.
that's a but what we have gone is that we've gone from one extreme to the other, and we see that the system that's going on right now is failing. It's
Mhm.
failing we're going through a crash and burn in the United States, but people are getting tired of paying $79 for a pay-per-view that shouldn't be a pay-per-view,
Mhm.
which is why I feel simplicity is the answer to that. And give us the mega fights, because there's mega fights every year. Give us the mega fights on pay-per-view, whatever platform it may be. But I really think that all these different all these different um platforms that are all these different streaming services, they're bleeding they're bleeding the public dry and couldn't care less about it. We're starting to have that idea. We're not doing that take my money please anymore.
Yeah.
And when that stops happening, boxing in the USA is going to be just about null and void. I mean, boxing is never going to die. As long as somebody wants to prove they're the best, boxing is never going to die. Let's get that straight. And boxing will never die. But the popularity right now, people don't want to pay for B and C fighters. They don't want to do a pay-per-view for a B and
Yeah,
C
and there's a
fighter.
lot of those now,
No,
you
A
I
know.
just feel
lot.
like, I mean, like okay, so I have like two different views on this. And one is the fact that, like, okay, so we used to do super fights that used to be at $80. But the undercard was shit, right? It was just those two people that we're paying for. And now, let's just say, the Hector Garcia versus Tank. Like, do we really want to see Hector Garcia? Not really, right? But you had the other guys that are being talked about as well. You had Boots on that card. You had Andrade on the card. You had Rashidi Ellis on that card.
Hmm.
So for me, as a boxing fan, what I like is who's on the undercard. I would pay $80 for a full night. Now, for it to be just one without the supporting roles of the other ones, where it's just like basically I'm showing up for 45 minutes and I'm paying $80 for 45 minutes, it has to be a super fight for me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, minute per round, how much would I
Totally get it.
pay just to watch the main event? I like to see stacked cards. And if the stacked card means I have to pay, because I want to see all these different fighters, not just the main event, not just one fighter on the card, then I would rather have that than going and only watching for 45 minutes. I like my, hey dad, get here by 6, 7 starts the pay-per-view and we watch it all together until 10. A 3-hour card for me is worth $80.
Yeah. Say it like one more time.
Yeah, I get you, because even though like you gave a good example, the Tank and Garcia fight, you know. But the rest of the card, most of the rest of the card was good.
No,
and they
I
were good
literally
fights.
enjoyed that card. Like I really wasn't like, Hector Garcia,
Well,
like I said, we were like, because I think we were so hyped on him fighting Ryan that like when he said Hector, I was kind of like, okay. But the rest on the card when we did our, our prediction, turned out to be very interestingly different,
yeah.
which made it for a great night. But again, like it's am I willing to pay for would I have been willing to pay for Tank versus Hector Garcia $80? Just them alone. No. And the stack card made me feel better that spending this money, I'm going to be sitting on my couch with my family watching card after card after card. That's interesting.
There are certain fights. Don't get me wrong. There are certain fights like the last
I
fight.
think I think for a while in the 90s as well, it was bigger fights. When they did something, it was amazing fight. We were looking forward to pay-per-views. Now they're like, oh, there's pay-per-view, oh, there's pay-per-view, oh, there's pay-per-view. Back in the days, it was like, man, they're fighting, this and this person is fighting, it was
Again,
something
you're so
to
excited.
look forward to.
You're like
That's
a
exactly,
seagull.
I get so excited.
And being a seagull, we got to
Yeah.
dance.
Hey, 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 hey.
Shout out to D Style Boxing. Thank you so
Thank
much
you,
for
brother.
that
Thank you.
$2 super
Super
sticker. It's a super sticker because he doesn't say anything. Super
Oh.
chat is they said something. Super sticker is there's
yeah. But thank you, brother. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm just saying, when it comes down to all of that stuff, man, it's so different nowadays. It's just more of like the promoters gave up. They're like, we're getting paid regardless. We have Showtime or we have ESPN. We'll get paid regardless. Oh, you know what? Let's put a good pay-per-view together. And they don't even put too much effort anymore in terms of like making it exciting or like, oh my God, we're looking forward for this fight. This is the fight we've been waiting for the whole year. It's not like that feeling anymore.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm excited because I haven't been to a boxing match. I haven't been since '77. I was 11 years old when I went to go see Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton fight. That's the only fight I've ever been to. My stepfather took me. Loved it. Shea Stadium, banger. All right. I am excited right now. This is going to be the first time I'm going to take my wife to go see Benavides Plant.
Wow.
Oh, you're coming out.
Yeah, I'm going to go see Benavides Plant, but we're going to be in the nosebleed section. We broke. Anyways, but I'm taking my wife to go see.
Man. That's
I'm
awesome.
excited about it. I want to go see.
Okay, Jed, if you're excited, the
You gotta
chat
dance.
is asking you. You have to dance during this one, okay?
Oh shit!
All right, here we
She
go.
left.
How do you do it?
Hey.
Did I think that has to be a requirement from now on?
Yeah.
If you're going to be on cam on the channel, you have to dance, like because you just have to.
Rider of the Storm. Salute, Mr. and Mrs. Donaires. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you, Rider of the Storm.
But here's what got me excited about the fight. Just the fact that there's an actual rivalry between these two. These two individuals do not like each other.
Oh, they did not like each other.
Benavides.com.
And
Did you know that?
I saw that. I was just going to mention that. DavidBenavides.com. That was genius trolling.
Anybody who thinks they're going to buy nonitodonaire.com, we've had it for a while. We've had it for years.
But I mean, it's stuff. This is what I'm talking about. Boxers need to do. Get proactive. Say that was genius. What Plant did. That was the ultimate troll. Plus, he's making some money. He's selling his merch on DavidBenavides.com.
Right.
That's insane. This is making me excited for the fight because Benavides is going to be very angry about that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna go in there trying to take off Caleb Plant's head,
Yeah.
and Plant's footwork is second to none, in my opinion. This is going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping my wife
You're
enjoys
looking at a
it.
great fight, man. I think it's gonna be a great
I think
fight.
it's gonna be great. But this hype is what's needed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and I
yeah,
think
The more
that's
you
why
have this
Jed
type of
too.
hype,
Jed, I think that's why too. Like, so Caleb actually had the reason why we're not at the gym right now at 11, which this used to be our time, is Caleb's at the gym. Like, he took over our private spot. So we used to have an 11 o'clock private spot, and then we, of course, when we're not in camp, we let it go, and we try to come back in at 11, and Caleb's there. And I feel like he started doing that pretty much after, because they all used to work out at City Boxing,
yeah.
and when Benavidez's camp came over because City Boxing's big. I don't know if you've been to City Boxing. There's like 2 rings on one side and
Yeah.
bags. Then there's like a whole walkway. Then another ring and bags on the other side. And Caleb was working on one side, and Benavidez's camp came from the other side and decided to come and start issues. So I think that's why Caleb, ended up doing that, and just being that was a couple years ago, I think, or
Yeah.
a couple months, not a couple months, but a couple years ago. This has been going on, and I think this is, I don't think this is fake. I think they really don't
No,
genuinely like
they
each
don't
other.
they don't not like each other.
no,
Yeah.
they don't.
And I
No.
think it's crazy because I think they used to both work out at City Boxing at the same time or about the same
Yeah.
time, and they just go back and forth after that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Hey, Jed, someone said if they drop $100 super chat, will you twerk in a thong?
All right, let me answer that very succinctly. No. Hell
That thong, the
no.
thong, thong, thong.
But
So
you know,
Remy
you
said,
know,
yeah, Rayo
What's that?
swung at Plant. Is that David's brother?
Bro, that's his dad. His brother's Jose. Oh, you say his dad's name's Jose. So there's another person. That's probably the thing.
Remember in the video,
Yeah,
like there was
because
someone.
there's junior and senior. So one of their people.
Oh, okay, I don't know who Rayo is or Rayo. But yeah, I think it's gonna be it's going to be real beef from. Yeah. Oh, so someone said that's where the beef started because Rayo swam.
Oh,
When did not the guys watch the? Oh, Ryo, the young startup who got washed in his last fight. Wait, what does Ryo have to do with Benavidez? I'm confused. Is that from his camp? Hey, Jed,
isn't
the
he?
price point
I
went
think.
up to 150 if it's a pink thong.
no, 200 for a leopard one.
Listen. The best they're gonna get is I got a set of boobs down here to my right, and that's as far as they get.
Who
I
that?
I got padded boobs down here is the farthest they're gonna get. No thong. Thank you very much.
You know, I never can handle this. Shaking that thing like who's the
Oh
issue
my
with the look
God.
in the eye so devilish.
Carl said he'll go 200 if you shave first. Wow,
The last time I
How about
threatened,
you, Ted?
the last time I threatened to shave, my wife got mad. I put my beard up as a bet, and my wife got mad. Luckily, I didn't lose. My wife wouldn't talk to me until the beard grew back. I'm not pissing off the lady. Nope.
Yeah, that's it. So Ryo is fighting Chris
Chris
Colbert,
Colbert
but
was
he
that one,
was
yeah.
his team, David's team.
Oh,
That's what happened.
so this
Okay.
is just like a camp versus camp thing.
Yeah. Camp versus camp.
Oh wait, so was Ryo the one that was in that fight in the video? Like, this is just weird. Like honestly, like that's pretty much why we like to go to the gym.
Private.
Private gym,
Quiet.
because then at least we don't have to run into other boxers or
Oh,
trainers.
on the last presser.
He swung on Plan's trainer at the last presser. Yeah, but it has to have
But
come from somewhere.
it was way before that they
No,
were
no,
already
no. This has been going on with
for a
Plant
while
and Benavidez. This has been a while. This is like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years in the.
Yeah, and he would always say how Benavidez would balloon up and all that stuff and go back and forth.
But I know Ryo. I know Rayo is in the Benavidez camp because he's one of the. He's training under Jose Benavidez. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the right Lasso de los Santos.
And he's
The
a
one.
pretty good fighter, by the way. Raul's pretty
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah. All right, Jed. We're
I,
gonna stay here for 4 more minutes, and then we're gonna head out. We've
I
been.
was, I no, I was just about to say I gotta go because I gotta
You
finish
want to
closing
drop
on
your
my house.
channel? I'll put you really big. Okay, there. Go ahead.
I want to say thank you, Rachel and Nonito. Um, God bless you guys, and I wish you guys nothing but good fortune. But to the chatters, guys, if you can try to help somebody out less fortunate than you, don't make it hurt, but try to help somebody that needs it, and love each other. Peace out, guys. I love you. Thank you for letting me be up
Thanks,
here.
Jed. Of course. See you in a bit. So, hey guys, interesting topic
It
today.
was
Go
very
ahead and
interesting
you
topic.
talk while I try to find this file. Go.
No, yeah, it was very interesting topic. I think that something that we should never wish upon failure to companies and others, because it will always have a lead to a certain action will always have a reaction, and a certain reaction has a path that we might not like, regardless if we think that this promotion should fall. But they might never have we might never see fights that would be happening in the future. So let's just not wish upon bad stuff upon promotion and others. Let's just hope to see that we get the best fight out there, and keep supporting boxing, man. I really appreciate you guys supporting boxing first and foremost, and supporting us here in our channel, and just giving you guys the best thing that we can, in terms of boxing and just life in itself, man. But yeah, let's not wish upon bad stuff, and let's just create some great stuff for people. And I wish you guys the best out there. I have this tattoo on my right that says, may your wish and dream come true," and I have it on my right side because when I do shake people's hand, I wish them the best of life. So to you guys out there, I wish you guys the best of life, of everything.
I hope you guys enjoyed the channel today, the chats. Thank you again to our guests, Mark, Nash, Drew, Titan, Jed, for coming up and kicking with us. Everybody in the chats, we always appreciate you guys, our supporters, of course, with all the super chats, the super stickers, and the cash apps. Until next time, we always want you guys to be safe, be positive, and
Amazing.
and go Seagulls.
Yeah.
Bye,
Much
guys.
love. Thank you.
I'm Jarrell. And I am Logan. Thank you for watching this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video. And hit the bell. Ding, ding, ding. KO! Jinx, got ya.
Benito the Nail.